This that A1 Perico flow, you know? It's that kind of flow that could change your life. Yo, the kid is back. Word to my fitted cap. Shorty bad, beauty plus brains.
I recognize your voice.
Yeah, it's
I
me.
knew that was you. I was like, wait, I know that man. I listen to him all the time. That's you.
Yeah, my name 80s Brooklyn 80s baby.
That's what I thought. I had to get that off. I was like, I know that. I know that voice.
Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the channel, hype the channel, all of the things. Holla at me in the comments. You already know. You holla at me, I holla back. And I appreciate it, man. Listen, I did a little look at my analytics, and I'm noticing that when I put out content, most of the people who see my content are non-subscribers. So I need, if you enjoy the content, if you don't enjoy the content, keep it pushing. You know what I mean? I ain't begging for no subscribers, but if you enjoy the content, if you are a non-subscriber, I need you to hit the subscribe button. Yeah. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Brooklyn 80s, back with another good episode for you guys today. Today we're gonna be talking about Angel Reese and the way she's been handling all this drama that she's been in. I don't think she gets enough credit for how she handles it. We also gonna be talking about the Melissa Smith, Dejanay Carrington situation, messiness. And we'll talk about a few other things too. We're gonna talk about how to fix. I got some ideas on how to fix the All-Star game, and or what they should have did also this year would have made it better, more entertaining. I got some ideas on that. But you know, and I also got a special topic that I think is important, and I think most people appreciate, and nobody is talking about. So I'm gonna save that topic. Y'all see what that is when we get to it. But it's very important. With that said, though, on a walk-in, do me a favor, hit the like button for your kid. You dig, you understand? Hit the like button for me. If you on mobile, hype me up. You know what I mean? Don't be stingy. Hype me up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to the channel. You obviously like being there. You keep coming back. Yeah, I'm saying whether you an Angel Reese fan, whether you a Caitlin Clark fan, yes, we're going to talk about Angel and we're going to talk about Caitlin. We're going to talk about it no matter if y'all like it or not. But y'all obviously enjoy it because y'all keep coming back. Yeah, I'm saying that we're gonna talk about some other things that's around the WNBA too. But that said, like I said, on the walk-in, everybody hit the like button, everybody subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on the playback, you already know, holla at me, I holla back. Also, I'm thinking about changing my time. I'm thinking about changing my time to go live. Right now, if you tapped in, if you tuned in, I go live 11:30 every Wednesday, every Friday, every Sunday. I go live at 11:30. So if that's cool for you, let me know. I'm thinking about changing that to an earlier time, maybe like 3 p.m. Right? I'm thinking about changing from 11:30 to 3 p.m. on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Let me know which works better for you. Do you prefer me to go live later, 11:30 and on, or do you prefer me to go live earlier, 3 p.m.? I should say all this is Eastern time. So that'll be 3 p.m. Eastern time. That'll be 11:30 Eastern time. So what's best for you? I actually have a poll on my post. If you go to my community post, you can actually vote there and just vote on the time you prefer. You could tell me in the comment section also. And if you're in a live chat, you can tell me there also. But that's what I'm thinking about. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? Everybody paddling before we get started. You know how I do. I like to have a nice size room so we jump in these topics. And also, I like my people to talk to me. I don't like stalkers. I tell you this every day. Don't stalk me. Don't pull up to my channel and look at me or just watch me. Interact with me. Speak to me. Talk to me. You know what I mean? Don't stalk me. Shout out to my brother, Bob Jones. Bob Jones says, have the winner get home court advantage in the playoffs. Baseball did that one year. I mean, that's an option. I thought about that, getting some type of playoff advantage, maybe getting a draft advantage, right? Those are all options. But the one I have is not that game changing. The one I have is real simple. That's a great game changing idea, right? Something you actually do something where it's gonna affect you, and you actually is incentivized to do it based off of what they could reward you with within the game. That's pretty dope. That's a dope idea, but there's a lot of thinking to make sure that it's fair, right? We want to make sure everything is fair for everybody. So I haven't put a lot of thought into that. But that's a good idea. The idea I have when we get to that topic is going to be more something they could have just something you could do right now to get to make the game more interesting for fans. We ain't got to do much changing around. It's just IQ. It's just smart. It's just something that they probably should have thought of. They should have thought of. I shouldn't have had the thought. The WNBA should have had this thought. And we'll talk about it when we get to that. But again, how's everybody doing today? How's everybody Sunday going? Talk to me. Anybody want to come up to the chat? Let me know. I will drop the link. Make sure your audio is good. Make sure you got good audio for me. Make sure that you're respectful. That's all I ask for. Good audio, being respectful. MSL, shout out to my brother MSL. MSL says AR5 is a solo release. I don't know what that acronym is. Sue Bird was part of Barbie's Trailblazers role model line in May of 2024 for women Trailblazers that honored 10 athletes, including Venus. Okay, listen, you always coming with the education, so definitely don't just put it in the chat. I'm about to drop the link so you can talk about it. Or you could tell the people about what you're talking about. I don't know about that. That's news. Appreciate the news. MSL always coming with the good news. Shout out to MSL. How's everybody doing though? Talk to me. Talk to me. We live. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I see 17 people in here. Hit the like button. Run the likes up. Do I got 17 likes? If I don't got 17 likes, then y'all not doing your job. You know what I mean? I'm a grassroots channel. I ain't like these other channels y'all be on. You know what I mean? I got all this help and got all these followers and everybody collaborating. You know what I mean? I'm not that. I'm just me. Help. You know what I mean? I'm a mom and pop. I'm a mom and pop YouTube page, man. Don't, you know what I mean? Show me, you got to show me support. You got to show me love. You get what I'm saying? Everybody else got communities, they got help, and you know what I mean? You go to this channel, go to that, everybody. I don't have that. I'm a mom and pop. If you gonna come in them, you know what I mean, you gonna come into my store, show some love. You get what I'm saying? Hit the like button. We mom and pop over here. And the products is just as good, if not better. The quality you get over here is just as good, if not better. So hit the like button. You gotta appreciate that, right? One man band. I'm the one man army A-San. You heard? Bob Jones says you could also play defense without having a basketball play in the All-Star game. Challenge the shot a little. We're gonna talk about it. I got some ideas because, like I said, I've seen good All-Star games in the past, so I know what I want to see. But I also know like what's the problem. I know how to fix the problem. It's very simple. It was a one simple fix they could have made that would have made this All-Star game way more fun. We're gonna talk about it when we get to that topic, though. I ain't giving away my secrets too early. MSL says Angel Reese is the only WNBA player with a solo release because Sue Bird was part of the broader release. Yeah, I think they talked about that. Yes, Angel Reese is the only player with her own Barbie. You know, the other ones was with, I think, matter of fact, I might have said it on the last show, if I'm not mistaken. I remember hearing that from somewhere. Because Sue Bird was part of the broader release where she was the one of 10 in 2024 after retirement, 2 years after AR 5 is active. Yeah, I remember hearing that somewhere. It might have been on a show yesterday, or I heard it on a broadcast. But I heard that. I heard that somewhere. You probably said it, knowing you and myself. The link is in the chat. Also, anybody want to come up and talk about these topics? Give your opinion. You don't have to. You don't have to know the topics to come up, and you don't have to. Anybody could come up. It's no wrong. You don't have to like share my opinion. Anybody, if you disagree with me or whatever, anybody could come up and just have their opinion. To talk about this stuff. So don't be afraid. Don't be shy. It's a safe place for anybody who wants to come up and share their opinion. Pull up. You know what I'm saying? It's been a great All-Star weekend outside of the actual game. The All-Star Friday wasn't bad as far as like the 3-point contest go. It was entertaining. It was just short. All-Star Friday was just short, and it seemed like they could have gave us more. That's the only thing I felt on All-Star Friday. All-Star Saturday, that was kind of trash. They could have not did the game for real. Kathy Thompson says, MSL, thank you for the history lesson, but Sue Bird was retired when her Barbie was released, and Angel is the first active player with a Barbie release. Thank you for that, Kathy. Thank you for that information. Like I said, don't be afraid to click the link. Come up here and talk to me. I'm friendly. You know what I mean? I'm friendly. All right, but I'm gonna get into the first topic. Since nobody coming up to the panel, that's fine. I'll get into the first topic and I'll talk about it myself. And the first topic is just how Angel Reese has been handling this protected species situation. Is how Angel Reese been handling everything she's been going through after winning the national championship, and it's unfortunate to say, right, that I'm happy that she has company so she don't have to go through it by herself. That's unfortunate to say because I don't want anybody else to have to go through the BS and the discrimination and the racism and the hate and all of the other things that Angel Reese goes through that they now implementing on all these other black women who runs into that fan base. You get what I'm saying? But I'm happy for Angel's her own psyche, for lack of a better term, that she has others to confide in, right? When others is going through the same thing you're going through, you get to be able to look to them for a community. And I'm happy she has that, even though that's not a community anybody should be a part of. So that's weird for me to even say. But that's my positive outlook on that. But with that said, again, when we watch how she just maneuvers, right? We watch how she could handle this. We watch how she could be, like, even taking this protected species thing, right? How she didn't say anything. She didn't put Sandy Brondello down. This whole time she hasn't put the WNBA down, right? She don't, all she do is still uplift. All she do is still bring more light, still bring more eyes to the W, even though she's the one that's on the short end of the stick. Even though in these games she's the one that's not being called. Even though the lies that's in the media, right? the lies that the lies that she got to go through in the media about how quote unquote Caitlin Clark is being treated, right? Caitlin Clark is the one getting beat up when it's really Angel, right? They giving Angel's story to Caitlin Clark in the media. Right? Not to say nothing happens to Caitlin Clark. Stuff happens to all basketball players, all WNBA players. So things happen to Caitlin, things happen to Angel, but nobody in their right mind to watch these games and say Caitlin gets beat up more than Angel. It's just that Angel is a black woman. So when it happens to her, they feel like, oh, she should be able to take it. Right? When she gets thrown down, she gets hit, she's okay. Caitlin get brushed and they feel like, she's getting bullied and they hate her and blah, blah, blah. So the story that they really pushing out about Caitlin Clark in mainstream media, that's really Angel Reese's story. And instead of her being bitter about it and being angry about it and, handling herself without grace, she still go out there each and every day and do her job the right way. And that's what I respect about my favorite, right? That's what I respect about Angel because, hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah, so that's what I respect about Angel because the way she handles is with so much class and so much grace. And she doesn't get any credit for it. It's almost like we kind of just expect it now. We expect something to happen. We expect her to just to move on. And we don't stop and say, damn, like that girl, all the stuff she's going through, many people wouldn't be able to do that. Many people wouldn't handle it like that, right? I remember her first season and maybe a little bit into the end of her college season, all the naysayers could say about Angel is she needs media training. Look at what she says in the media and this, that, and the third, right? She corrected that. And to be honest with you, me personally, maybe it's because I'm from Brooklyn, I never had an issue with anything she said in the media. So, speak your piece. That's it. Speak your piece. So me personally, I never had an issue with anything she said, but that was the attack on her then, right? That's what these media, big conglomerates would do to her. Is talk about, oh, look, she needs media training, this, that, and the third. Look how Caitlin handled it. Caitlin handles everything so proper, right? And throughout the years, you can see she even stopped doing that. She stopped saying certain things. She stopped saying things that people can attack her for, right? She even corrected that. No credit there. We seen her grow there. No credit there. Even like her game, people want to talk about I talked about this on my last show, but people want to go in on Angel about her missed layups. Every time she missed a layup, this, that, and the third. And hold on, mute your mic because I hear myself. In this. I'm gonna introduce you after I finish. So anyway, I had damn, where was I? That just kind of interrupted me. Oh, I remember. Her friend, her naysayers want to talk about her missed layups and this, that, and the third when she's the most popular player in the WNBA. So of course we're gonna pay more attention to what happens with her. But she's gotten better, right? Her game gotten better, and to really be honest, she don't get the credit for it, but she's so good now that even the channels who hate her gotta be like, damn, I remember seeing channels during a Fever game, right? When they beat the Fever, Angel did play well. Damn, they let her, you know what I mean? It's like she forces them to admit it. She forces people to admit it, but people won't come out and say, yo, that girl. And in fact, one person did say it, and this is a person who I actually thought didn't like Angel because, all these vets be hating on her, but I don't know how she feels, but I'm going to give her credit for this. She actually did come out and say, recently, I think it was on Sway in the Morning, Cynthia Cooper came out and said, look at Angel Reese's game. Everybody is so hard on her and hating on her, but look at how she's gotten better over the years, right? Grace. That's grace that Angel don't usually get. Shout out to a clip I just saw not too long ago during the All-Star break. Obviously we still, it's the end of the All-Star break, but I'm just saying that's how recent it is. One of these clips during this All-Star break, Natasha Howard was asked who's her GOAT, and she gave an answer nobody expected, which I admire because I understand what she meant. Obviously, Angel Reese isn't the GOAT yet, but everything she's doing right now is being kind of overlooked. Sometimes things happen in our lifetime, and we don't realize how great it was till later. I'm having that right now in my real life with Nas. Side note, if any of y'all are hip hop fans, and I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. I've always been a Nas fan, per se. I'm more of a Jay-Z guy. I'm from Brooklyn, but I've always been a Nas fan because I always understood how ill he was. But I didn't always like listening to some of his older albums now. I didn't always appreciate how important Nas is, right? And I'm gonna give y'all this nugget for anybody who's listening to me and taking heed to my words right now. If you the type of person who appreciates revolution, if you're the type of person who appreciate activism, if you're the type of person who appreciates somebody who goes against the system, I didn't realize then because I was just a fan of the hip hop music, but I understand it now. That's who Nas is. Nas is different than damn near every other rapper because of that. Because when we start talking about the greatest rappers, the Eminems, the Jay-Z's, the whoever, we start talking about lyricism. Who's the best lyricist? Who got the best song? Who put together? Nas do all of that. So we'll fall in that kind of conversation with Nas on where he ranks. Oh, Nas rank here because of, but when you start talking about somebody who stand up for us, somebody who will fight against the system for us, Nas do that, and a lot of other rappers don't. Nas stand alone when he do that. Nas like put himself in a whole nother stratosphere when he do that a lot of other rappers are not in. And that's what the respect and the understanding I'm actually having in Nas now. And that's the example and the point I'm using about Angel and what she's doing right now, because sometimes when somebody doing something in real time, you don't even realize it until you go back and be like, oh shit, this motherfucker was incredible. And that's what Angel Reese is doing now, and that's what Natasha Howard said. The interviewer asked Natasha Howard, she said, "Who's your GOAT?" And she said, "Nah, for real, to be honest with you, my GOAT is right here." She said, with everything this girl got going on and what she's doing, she the GOAT. And I kind of respected that, because if we start talking about talent and everything and specific things, kind of like when I was saying Nas, we just focus on lyricism and stuff like that, you can mention a whole bunch of other names. So if we just focused on the talent, you can mention Asia, you can mention this one, you can mention that one, right? Which Asia in her own right is doing amazing things for this generation too. That's another story, right? So we could get into that too on another show, another time. But right now we're focusing on Angel. What Angel is doing, bringing to the game that as far as from a business standpoint, as far as from a boss standpoint, as far as from a not being controlled standpoint, as far as from a change in the game standpoint, and all of the things she trailblazing and showing these women that they can do, Angel is really a GOAT in her own making. And, some people is going to be able to appreciate it now. Some people is not going to be able to appreciate it till later. But I wanted to give her flowers and her credit on that, and I'm gonna land my plane there because I got somebody on the panel with me, so I don't want to be too long-winded because I like to I want to hear his opinion as well. Everybody do me a favor and welcome. Everybody do me a favor and welcome my brother MSL to the panel.
I was going to take your time and cook, cause last night we was chatting up the storm. So
no. So the way what happens is this, right? This is how I operate. If something is so like, let's just say, for example, something is scripted, right? Let's just say we script something out. Let's say me and you doing a show together, right? And we talk about it behind the scenes. We script it out, right? And for whatever reason, we go off script, whether it be me or you or just somebody we invited to the panel, like a guest. And we go off script, but that script is gold. That we go off script, right? But that off script is like gold.
Right.
I'm not gonna stop the magic.
Flow,
like you don't stop the magic. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right.
I appreciated yesterday. Yesterday, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't say this to you, but you gave me a break. I was like, nigga, I could. I said, MSL, if you watch a show, like, I don't know if you watch any podcasts or any music shows, you usually have an A mic, a B mic, right? And then you have the other people who talk. The A mic usually do most of the talking, and I'm usually the A mic on my show. You was the A mic yesterday, and I was cool with that. Like I ain't had no problem.
You get to chill and relax and listen.
You get what
right?
I'm saying? So it just and then you was cooking too. Not only was you the A mic, you was like, why would I interrupt anything you saying? Right? Like you giving so much knowledge to the people. You cooking anybody who's saying something crazy. You cooking them. Like why would I interrupt that? Like that don't even make sense. That's me. Everybody different. I don't never interrupt the magic. Right? Even me. It be times I plan a show out and I'll be like, all right, on this show, we're gonna talk about X, Y, and Z. But it'd be one topic everybody care about. Well, guess what? Or it'll be a topic it'd be a topic everybody care about, or it'll be a topic I ain't even think of, but everybody want to talk about it. I ain't gonna be like, all right, let's stop talking about it. Right? Like I'm gonna just go with where the magic is going. So but I say that also to say what I try to do though, if I have again, like yesterday, if I have a panel, typically if I have a panel with like 4 or 5 people or whatever, I want everybody to like pass the mic to each other. Like I don't mind who talks and I don't mind how long they talk as long as we involve in each other. Like I don't want anybody to feel either alienated out of the conversation or, you know what I mean? I want everybody to be included, in other words, is what I'm saying. So typically if I have a panel full of people, and even right now, even if it's just me and you, I'm not going to talk I'm going to pass the mic. I'm going to say something, pass the mic. You say something, you pass it back to me. Because that's what people listening for. They listening for the conversation, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So I always like try to pass the mic back and forth. But if somebody catch fire and they cooking, never stop the magic. You never do that. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you just, this is a show at the end of the day. And you trying to put on a good show for the people to feel like same way if you sat down and you threw on, I don't know what you're interested in, whether when you're not on here, you watching sports shit or you watching non-sports stuff, whatever it is you're interested in, when you sit down and you turn it on, you looking to be entertained some type of way. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not only are you looking to be entertained, if there's multiple people, you listening to different perspectives. You trying to see who you agree with, disagree with. You trying to see who's going to enlighten you, teach you something new, like all of the things. So it's like, that's what we doing now, right? That's our purpose, is to do that for the people who watching us. So like I said, yesterday was a unique show for me, but I appreciated it too. Like it wasn't like an issue. Nothing like that. I appreciate it yesterday. And like I said, we talked for a long time. In fact, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yesterday was so special because I didn't plan on going live, right?
Right.
2, I didn't even have topics because it wasn't a show like I planned on doing.
You
I was
just did it because you hated the game so much.
It was impromptu, and I said I don't know how long. I said this live might be short or long. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I said I got something on my mind. We're gonna talk about this All-Star game, and it happened to be one of my best shows. It happened to be just as long as any other show I did. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Did you get a chance? Do you ever re-listen to your shows, or you just know it's good?
I know I do that all the time. I haven't been the one from last night is too soon. Okay. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to listen to that one. But on purpose, I always listen to myself back because that's how I get better, right? And that's why you always hear me critiquing things when I'm live, because when I finish a show, I want to sit back and relax. I want to hear it back, and I want to hear. How did I sound? Right? Did I sound good? Did I sound clear?
Absolutely.
I just want to hear it. I want to hear it.
I want to project how clear did you sound.
Exactly. I'm still like producing after the show, if that makes. Or I don't even know if producing is the right word, but I'm still like critiquing the show after the show, trying to see and I'm gonna be honest with you. Most times, if I'm being honest, I'm happy with the product. Most of the time. Every once in a while, I hear something.
Your show's good.
I appreciate that. Every once in a while, I hear people over talking, and I don't like that. And that's why I got to tell people. Or every once in a while, I hear somebody get on with the background noise, and I'll be like, can't do that again.
Yeah,
like
that happens
I don't want to throw no names out there because I respect everybody, but they know because I told them to their face. Sometimes my brother Jonathan Gonzalez get on here with the wild noise, with the background. Sometimes Bodie Mac get on here with the wild background noise.
Both be working.
Yeah, exactly. And I ain't mad at them. Sometimes my brother Nate ain't been on here in a while, but still my brother. He get on there Chicago, sometimes. Right? Yeah, from Chicago. Those particular ones usually, and then now Lisa, right? Certain times people get on with the background noise, and I don't like that. Like that's a pet peeve. That irks me. The noise. Like when it's clear and it's crisp, and you like, and it's because what I'm trying to do. As a regular person, just like everybody else, is trying to have a show with the same quality that one of these big networks put out. And whenever I accomplish that goal, I feel really good about it. I'll be like, wow, that was a really good show. Whenever I have a show and it sounds like low budget because of the background noise and stuff, that pisses me off. I don't like the quality of my show being lowered from like things that we can control, like professionalism. Like that's all it is. All of us getting on here understanding like, yo, let's try to be as professional as we can be and giving our takes and our thoughts. And if we do that, you got a great show. You get what I'm saying?
And I know you talk about a lot of other things, but the chat, appreciate the fact that you take the time to do these shows sometimes on Angel, because obviously on one hand we all know who she is and what she is, but there's so much nonsense for a person who wouldn't know, right? If you were just a person who didn't know anything and you just search the internet, you would just, Google has it to where all the negative stuff comes first, but then you have other people who say if you search Caitlin Clark, a lot of that negative stuff you don't see, right?
Yeah.
You don't see. Now you can argue that more people are making negative stuff on Angel. That's probably true as well, but that's also done on purpose, because when you really think about it, who does that, right? Like when you really think about it, who does that, right? Like who just wakes up and says, I'm going to be negative on somebody? That doesn't really make any sense. Right. But there's a business, because who's got time for that? So there's a business for that, and there's a business doing that. And so it's kind of crazy. And so I appreciate you doing that.
Absolutely. And in taking what you're saying a step further, because I don't think that people, because sometimes things go over people's head. What you saying that is a business, that's absolutely true, right? Because you have companies out there specifically, and this doesn't just happen in sports. This happens in any entertainment, right? This happens in music. When you have this happened in I don't know how many people was familiar with the Drake Kendrick battle, but this happened in that battle, right? Where you have certain media companies. I think and this happens in politics too. A lot of people don't know when you have politicians, anything where fame is involved. You have these companies who will put out propaganda untrue on a person and feed your feeds to like only see this to start believing, right? They're trying to control. They trying to control the narrative. That machine that people think that don't exist, it exists, and it happens all the time. We can see in every industry who's liked and who's not liked, right? And that's why, again, that's why it's crazy that me understanding and hearing something like what Ryan Clark just said about the execs at ESPN, right? And then hearing somebody like Nas say, I don't know if y'all remember a few years ago, if y'all familiar with hip hop, he tried to put out an album called Nigga, right? And it was a conscious album, though. It was a conscious album about the word nigga, and he couldn't put it out. But just imagine the same thing happening to somebody like Nas, because he basically was saying the same thing that Ryan Clark was saying. He's saying like, yo, in fact, in one of his songs, he was like, it's crazy because at this point, Nas is already a legend, right? This is like in the mid 2000s. Nas been a legend since 95, 93, right? So he like somebody like myself, he said, you can only imagine somebody like myself is having trouble with the labels from making the statements and putting out the message I want to put out. So you can imagine what the young kids is going through. Somebody young who don't have a name at all, who have a conscious mind, who want to talk about the things that he's seeing in the world, right? Things that she's seeing in the world. You can't even put your idea out because you got these people there to block you because they want the story that they want out. They want the narrative they want out. They don't care about your truth or how you feel or how you see the world, right? So it's companies there, just like you said, that that Donald Trump is, because you can look this up. I'm not making this up. Donald Trump is a part of one company. Drake is like different companies. Drake has another company. Like there's different companies that these people have where these people do smear campaigns on people. Absolutely. So Angel, to your point, That's what we seeing. We're not seeing it's not organic. It's not people
Not organic at all.
Yeah, there's companies that's putting this information out on Angel, all of the missed layups, all of the naked photos, all of the nudes, so you could then start to build the idea of who this girl is.
Even the comments that we find.
Hold on. Let me say this because this ties into yesterday, and I'm gonna land my plane because I want to make sure I say this for people. Even with Wody, I don't know if y'all seen the last show we did yesterday, but even what Wody Mack was doing, right? Asking common people, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? You got to realize those are the people, the common people who's not into women's basketball, who don't watch, is the ones who's getting affected by that campaign because they start to believe it's true. Right? They start to believe, oh, yeah, Angel is provocative. She is this, she is that. Because this media company put it out. You a casual fan, you don't watch. You see Angel in, whatever outfit, and you start to think, oh, she a hoe. Like with Charleston White and stuff like that. You hear that stuff, and then you start to believe it. And that's how these companies are dangerous. Somebody like us, it can't work on MSL because we too in tune. So we know it's BS. The people that's watching, that tune in every day and watch me, y'all in tune. It won't work on y'all, but it will work on the person that's not in tune, the person that's not paying attention. And that's kind of like brings back what happened yesterday when when Wody Mack was just acting random people. The WNBA. What do you know? Well, guess what? They're going to know the propaganda that's being pushed to them. They're not going to know what's real. Get MSL.
Well, it's, the funny thing is that I think with Angel, with a lot of this so-called negativity that we see all over the place, I think the easiest thing to do is to just ask yourself a question, which most people don't, right? Because the average person who's not interested in the WNBA, right? If something gets to them and penetrates them, they assume it's real simply because they're like, well, why would it get to me if it wasn't real? But that goes back to what you're saying, because there's PR companies and other companies and social media companies and political companies that are actually pushing this stuff out. So to the average person, when they see these missed layups, right, they don't ask themselves, well, is she the only one that misses layups? No, they assume that if they're seeing the video, then that means she must be really, really, really bad at it. But then, like you said, if you watch any or every WNBA game, including last night's All-Star game, who cares? But last night's All-Star game where Malanga missed like 3 in a row, point blank, with no one in front of her. But no one's going to make a video of Malanga missing those three layups, right? They're just in a row at that, right? They're not, because they don't care. So the question I always say is, and I wrote this down. Let me read it to you. Hold on, I wrote this down. It shouldn't be hard to find. Actually,
I'm gonna talk till you find it. In fact, I'm gonna read the comments so you find it.
Yeah, I found it.
All right, good. Well, let me say that out to Big Girl since I got on the channel. Yeah. What's going on, Big Girl? How you feeling? Go ahead.
Yeah, if all you care about are the mistakes from one player, then all you'll see is mistakes from that one player. It's not rocket science, right? If all you care about are mistakes on one player, then that's all you're going to get is mistakes from one player. And that's essentially what we have right now with Angel. For example, Aaliyah Boston also scored 0 points, right? But nobody cares. Nobody's talking about it, right? Angel scores 0 points with 5 rebounds and 4 assists in only 9 minutes. Right, and everyone knows she twisted. And everyone knows she twisted her ankle again. So obviously it was out.
No, but hold on. Let me just say this real quick. To your point, not even starting. Right, not even a starter.
It's always the lies, the hype, the BS that's pushed out, and there's never an explanation, whether it's from the networks or from the newspapers or whoever. Context is never given. They just put it out there, and when you search Google or you search YouTube, you see all these terrible headlines. They don't filter it, right? They make sure all the negative headlines come out. Now, whether that's social media companies or PR companies that are messing with the algorithms to make that happen, or if it's Google and YouTube allowing that to happen, you still get that effect where when you look up Angel's name, you see all this crazy stuff. And a person who doesn't have common sense would believe it, because they're like, well, why would it be there if it wasn't true? But like you just said, Brooklyn, there are people actively pushing it out there like that for a reason.
That's a fact. Let me get to some of these comments real quick because I see y'all commenting. Big Girl says, MSL, I'm surprised you didn't hit the link and go up. Well, look.
What did she say?
I guess it's before you cammed up. She said she's surprised you didn't cam up. She just ain't give you enough time yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, she was on before. She was on before I was.
No. So I guess she just like hearing your opinions because I guess she's used to you being on the panel or something. That's how I took it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And yeah, I guess says I'm a CC fan. They both get hate. I'm a CC fan. Okay. I mean, yeah, we know CC get hate. That's not the point of this video. But see, let me educate you then, Anya. And I don't know whether you a black woman or a black person or a white person, right? I don't know your background. It don't really matter. But let me educate you on CC because I hate when people do this. And this shows you right here why, to your point, I got to do this for Angel because when you at the top of the mountaintop, right? It's like they want CC to have everything. It's like, okay, she the machine, right? She get all of the games on TV, right? She, you know what I mean? She's told, we're told she's the best ever. All of the things, right? Like she got all of that. She don't have, her and Angel and Angel are both popular, but they popular in two different ways. CC is popular in a way where she's greenlit. She's greenlit by all the media. She's greenlit by the WNBA. This is our person, you know. She's the face, all of the things. She's greenlit, right? She's the one that they use in the market. So she already have her shine. Angel is the one they trying to suppress. They trying to turn her light off, right? So now when I'm highlighting Angel, it's you. And then I'm happy you did this because you got so much delusional people out here, MSL, that say things like, oh, we can't keep CC out of our mouth. But look, I was talking about Angel, right? But they had to make sure they threw CC in it. So it was like we got to stop with the lies. We got to stop with the propaganda, and we got to get out our feelings and emotion. Listen, at the end of the day, ain't nobody taking nothing away from CC. And if I do a show talking about what CC goes through, I can. In fact, if y'all really fans of me and y'all pay attention, I think about 2 episodes ago, it might have been the last episode, but I think it wasn't. I think it was 2 episodes ago. I sat up here and I said, you know what? I'm going to give Caitlin Clark some grace. So I actually gave her grace before I gave Angel grace, right? I said, this is what I said for the people who missed that show, for all the CC fans in the chat that's going to get in their feelings because we talking about Angel, right? I'm going to give y'all a little bit of something to hold on to, right? That's what I said about Caitlin. I said, Caitlin is going through a lot. I said, what Caitlin is going through, I have to now lower my expectations of what I want her to do because I would do it. I can't expect her to do it. We two different people. I'm more of a rebellious, revolutionary type of person where I'll fight against the system. I can't expect CC to do that. So now when I look around other leagues and I look at other people that maybe the MAGA people have attached themselves to, none of them is speaking out. Right, one of the names again. I don't mean to throw names out there, but I have to because when I looked it up, this is one of the names that came up. I don't know this to be true, but they said Aaron Rodgers is like a MAGA person, or at least that's who they attach themselves to. I don't know his politics and none of that. But my point is,
yeah, that part is true with him.
My point is, Aaron Rodgers don't denounce racism and none of that. He don't say nothing. So why I'm expecting CC to? You get what I'm saying? If nobody else does, that's this party. And you know, this party has attached themselves to, these fans have attached themselves to. If nobody else is standing up against what comes with that, I can't expect her to neither. And if we really being honest, the thing that the problem I personally have with her is actually not a problem at all if I think about it. My biggest problem with Caitlin is the fact that she don't speak up more and denounce her stuff more. That's my biggest problem. But at the same time, I got to understand that that's not up to her. That if she's the type of person, if her personality is to be quiet and just hope it goes away and not give it no attention, I can't be mad at that.
But
I would be different.
You remember what I said last
night? Hold on. Let me you say what I'm doing. I want to forget what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm the type of person that if I was in that situation, I would denounce it. I would every chance I get, because people like to bring up but she has. I don't care. Every time you open your mouth, let them know. That's what I would do. But at the same time, I can't expect her to do that, and I understand her not doing that, because also something I wouldn't want to do, and something I probably won't do also, which is smart that she's doing right now, if I'm being honest, is not fucking up the money. So even though I disagree with all these people who may be supporting me, if they the reason why I could live the lifestyle I live, I'm not going to tell them to stop buying my shoes. I'm not going to tell them to stop coming to the games, right? I'm not going to tell them to stop supporting me, even though I don't agree with what they're doing. I would never say that that's okay, which she never did, right? She never said that that was okay. But at the same time, what's she going to do? Tell them to stop supporting her? She can't do that. So I gave her grace just the
I have
other
a question
day.
for you though.
Hold on, because this is for Andy. So give me 1 second. Let me land this plane, and you ask me. But I just want Andy and all of the Caitlin Clark fans that's in their fucking feelings, right, to understand that everything ain't about CC, and don't nobody cater, right? That's all, again, media propaganda, what we was talking about. So I just gave her props just the other day. Today ain't about her. Today is about Angel. And I'm giving Angel her props, and I need you to sit down in your seat, Andy, shut the hell up, and give Angel her props. This ain't about CC. When we talk about CC, we could talk about CC. Today about Angel. Andy, we giving Angel her props.
I mean,
I'm laying on my plane with that. Go ahead, MSL.
I mean, it's look, and I'm saying this in response to the people you're talking to, not to what you just said. Look, it's obvious CC is controlled. We got into all the details of her arrival into the WNBA last night, so I'm not going to repeat it today. But the reason why she doesn't speak up is because she's controlled. Like I always say, it's not like I said, when CC got her deal, she wasn't making a lot of money, right? The same deal was offered to Angel. Angel refused because of the stipulations that comes with the deal, and because she was making a considerable amount of money in college, and CC took the deal because she was not. Let's just call a spade a spade. Paige didn't do it. Ionescu didn't do it. Breonna Stewart didn't do it. Kelsey Plum didn't do it. Presumably, or what we hear is because besides the stipulations, is that you had to sell racism, right? And no one else did it. And presumably, Angel said no, besides the stipulations, because she didn't want to be a foil. She didn't want to be an official foil to what CC was doing. But the question I was going to ask you before I continue was, if the situation was reversed, do you think Angel would tell her audience, hey, calm down, or at least speak out, if she didn't speak directly to her audience?
If our audience, that's kind of hard to say, because I don't really see us doing the same thing that they doing.
I agree.
So I would say yes, but I don't we not like that. So it's hard to even think like that.
I agree. But I like your answer. You said yes. You know why? You know why Angel would speak out, Brooklyn?
Because she stands up for what's right.
Because she stands up for what's right, meaning she has integrity, and also because she controls her own destiny. Unlike CC. This is why Nafisa made that comment regarding Kathy, when Kathy was basically like, girl, go sit your behind down, because we gave you this, we gave you this, we gave you that. CC is a puppet. She's not the one leading the army or leading the orchestra. She's a puppet. So they make of her whatever they want to make of her. This is why same thing with the CBA, right? Remember, she rarely said anything about the CBA. All she would say is, oh, we just need to get together. We need to get together. And sometimes she said it when the players were trying to play hardball, which kind of went against what the players were saying. But like I said last night, you notice all the pro Caitlin Clark sites, they supported the WNBA, not the players. They didn't support Unrivaled. They didn't support a better CBA, right? All they did was make fun of the women and said they didn't deserve it or anything like that. And people like Stephen A. Smith from ESPN, who we knew, but now we know even better, were against Angel Reese. They all said that Caitlin Clark, go sit yourself down, because if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, you wouldn't be getting this money, which is what I said to you last night and several years ago. If you would have heard me talk about it, that's why she was chosen, because they knew that Angel Reese would not support the women being disenfranchised, because she had already said before she got to college that I'm pro CBA, I'm pro WNBA history, I'm pro the women getting a better deal. Even when she was in high school, you can find a Slam profile of her when she was in high school, where she talked about what women deserve. So she was always like this. That's not CeCe's personality. In comparison, CeCe's a dingbat. Just calling a spade a spade. When Angel was in high school, she was speaking about women's rights and what they deserve and what they need and what she's going to get. She's just a very impressive, strong, dynamic person. And as far as what you were saying, what happened in college, that's the media treating her inappropriately compared to anyone else. Anytime you hear Angel Reese speak, she's very articulate, she's very personable, she's very fun. She can take over any room that she walks in. And she's always been that way, which is why Kim Mulkey used her to recruit Anissa Morrow. It was Angel that got Anissa Morrow to come to LSU. It was Angel. HVL probably came because she would have went with Mulkey at Baylor, but Angel also reached out to her as well, and HVL was impressed with that. And because anytime you hear Angel Reese speak, she's very personable. If you watch that interview that she did with Michelle Obama, I don't know if you've seen it. Did you see it, Brooklyn?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's one of the best interviews of someone her age I've ever seen. Right? Because she's funny, she's dynamic, she's strong, she's personable, she's vulnerable, she's charismatic.
I actually did a video responding to it on my channel too, for anybody who's interested in that. If you seen the Angel Reese interview with Michelle Obama and her brother, I did a video recapping it on my channel.
Yeah, there's no one who can watch that video and has something negative to say about her. If they do, then you just have to move on and say, this person just has issues with life or with themselves or with her, and just move on. Because there's no way you can watch it and go, wow, that's not a very, very impressive individual. And that's the difference between the two. Angel is steering her own destiny. Caitlyn is just responding to it because she's not the driver. This is why all this craziness goes on around her, and you don't hear anything and you don't see anything. And it's always these mealy-mouthed, responses. So, for example, I think Bob Jones in the chat said, oh, well, she says Maya Moore was her favorite player. Just like how people say, oh, she said she says stuff every once in a while, but you can tell it's not her passion. You can tell it's not her conviction. She says what she says, as you said last night, because she's supposed to say it. But it's not because and then like other people say, she'll play into the racism, right? Like she'll tackle Angel because she knows people are watching, or during Team USA, she didn't want to give her the ball, or she tried to take the ball from Angel so much so she ran into Angel. They could have hurt each other. Like, I've never seen a player jump in the path of someone with the ball that was bringing the ball up the court. That's completely disrespectful. If you're a guard, you run to the spot, because guess what? That's what Chelsea Gray did when they played together in Unrivaled. Chelsea Gray, as soon as Angel got the ball, she shot up to be on the wing to take the shot, because she knew Angel could push the ball up the court and make the right pass. This is Chelsea Gray. So if Chelsea Gray can do that, just like you're seeing right now with the Dream, she gets the rebound, she pushes the ball up the court, and she'll either score or kick it out to the guards. So what were all the headlines? Angel didn't want to pass the ball to CeCe. Everything was a negative against Angel, when in reality it's a negative against CeCe, because if you're a guard, you just run to the spot. Or you see silly stuff like, well, she can't even handle the ball. Why she handling the ball? I mean, so she knows what she's doing in certain respects. Now, if you want to call it a passive aggressiveness, why not? Why not? And And you know how we know she does it? Because look at what happened with AT, right? AT, what happened with AT was not going to hurt, was not going to hurt her, was not going to harm her, right? But the part that nobody talked about was what happened those 2 games, right? What happened those 2 games? First of all, was the initial relationship with Wnba, which nobody wants to talk about, which was not good. You notice all these free agents keep getting chased out of Indiana. I wonder why. Wnba, Melissa Smith, Howard, Natasha Howard. Nobody ever wants to talk about that because we know why. And part of the machine makes so it's not discussed on TV. It's definitely not discussed on ESPN, CBS, or any of the networks. But the veterans don't like her, right? They don't like her. And with Wnba, we knew she didn't like her, right? So what happens? They come back for that first game. They're wrangling. So that's part of the responsibility. Then when AT and Melissa Allen's eyes get into an argument, what does CC do? She's inciting the argument. She's exciting it. She's clapping her hands like, yeah, so these 2 big women can go at it. That's totally unprofessional. Then she gets a tech. So then she runs off to the sideline and she's inciting the crowd for where you could have a potential melee. Then she goes to the sideline and she's inciting the crowd again for a melee. And then finally she goes to the locker room and they ask her about it. And she's cussing out the refs saying, well, I'll do it again. I don't care. They do this for clapping. Then the following game, when they met, CC makes a turnover to Wnba, ironically, doesn't play defense. So guess what? Stephanie White immediately at about 3:35 in the 3rd quarter calls timeout. She pulls CC out, puts her on the bench. She has a conference with her staff. So Bree, forgot her last name, Bree January. So she goes to CC and asks her to come out the game. CC refuses. So then Stephanie White goes over, pulls her out the game, puts Raven in the game. CC listens to the huddle, and then after she taps 5, she walks out from her team, and then the general manager follows her. That was the story. The story was CC got pulled out the game, got benched, and then walked out on her team. So then all of a sudden, 2 days later, the next day, we get a story about AT does this when nobody on ESPN, CBS, NBC, Yahoo, any of these places talked about the fact that she started all this stuff or was in the middle of all this stuff at least. And then after all of that, she walked out on her team. The woman is a maniac. She can't control herself. She's a maniac. But this is not how she's portrayed in the media. Even though anyone that goes to a game and watches her knows she's a maniac. The fans on the road don't even like her. They boo her all the time. You noticed last night at the All-Star game in Chicago, you could barely hear her applause. They were tepid at best. Some people say she got booed. I didn't hear that. But a lot of people say she got booed. But the point is, you couldn't hear her applause through the television. But you heard Angel Reese's and Paige's applause through the television. Clearly. But you didn't hear her. So she's not nearly as liked as the power structure wants us to believe, because all the bad things that she had going back to Iowa are still present and hasn't changed. She's still a maniac. She's still entitled. I'm not even getting into her basketball game. She's still a maniac. She's still entitled. She still does not listen, and she wants to do her own thing. But so to go back to what you said about Angel, now Angel is a professional. She plays hard. She's a hard worker. She's a winner. But to these so-called CC fans, or what they're trying to push out the casuals, like you said, she's this irate, crazy, bitter person. And I would also like to say, Brooklyn, that they also do this because when you look, because let's be honest, if you take the average guy, right, without knowing anything, and you show him Angel Reese, they'll be like, God damn, she fine. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Oh my God. So what they do is they systematically try to take that away by putting out these caricatures of her, like they did the other day with the doll. Somebody already put out a character, the doll, making her look like a ghetto queen with a cigarette. in her mouth. They call her Sid. They call her Sloth. They call her Baby Giraffe. All of these things. Now, of course, that doesn't take away her beauty and who she is, but this is not yahoos that just wake up and decide to do this. Like you said, these are companies pushing this stuff out, because if it was, we wouldn't see it so systematically, dramatically, and pervasively since 2024, especially, but even going back to 2023. See, I could keep talking, but I'm going to stop because I want you to get a response.
No,
Unless
no,
you
no,
won't
no.
let me keep cooking.
No, that's good. Keep cooking. I want you to shift a little bit though, because we did a lot of this yesterday. We talked a lot about CC and all that stuff. I want to shift more to focusing on Angel now, and how basically everything you're saying from a different point of view, because I want to shift to how Angel has handled all of that. You get what I'm saying? I want to shift the what I want to focus on today is
Well, for
kind of,
starters,
yeah, I want to focus on everything you saying, but but basically how Angel has handled all of that, how she was able to navigate through all of that and still be the same boss, business queen, power move maker that she is today. That's kind of where I want you to
well,
shift to.
first and foremost, and we've heard her say this, she had to learn, and she even said this, that the internet is not real. Of course, that's a metaphor because it's real people most of the time, or some of the time. But she said the internet is real, and she had to learn to stay off the internet. Now, as far as we know, she works with a company that has created software that can take out negative stuff out of your Instagram or whatever she's looking at. She claims she uses that technology, but of course that would also help you to look at stuff, because the thing that people don't realize is it's not even so much the negativity. It's not that it always bothers you. I'm talking about for someone like me. It's just that now I got to waste my time. If let's say there's 100 posts in a thread, if 50% of them are bad, now I got to just waste my time getting through the nonsense to get to the stuff that I actually want to see. So it's a nuisance. But one of the things she's done is work with a company to deal with cyberbullying. If you remember, she also says that she doesn't spend as much time online. Obviously, she has a tight circle of friends from her family, right down to her team, Janine Adamwanga, if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, and they have 3 other agents or managers that work with that. And now she also has an attorney and also a trademark, a patent person that works together, and they have a tight team, right? She doesn't work with big corporations. And so, yeah, so she said a lot of this stuff, at first when it happened after they won the title, yeah, it was like, what the hell? This is crazy. But she's just come to accept the fact that there are people out there that are just going to do this, and she's going to focus on what she has to do. But she also realizes that the people she meets in real life are not the people who she'll see on the internet, and her team just constantly. And then we have a situation that doesn't make any sense, right? Because then you talked about this last night. If these people want to believe that she has no fans, no appeal, no this, no this, no this, no that. Well, if that's the case, how does she get a Barbie doll? How does she get a solo Barbie doll? It doesn't make sense. The two don't connect. How does she speak Reese's Pieces into effect? How does she speak the black and white Reese's that she did with Paige Beckers? How does she get the double program at McDonald's? How does she do promotions with Amazon? How does she do promotions with Dell? How is she the calendar girl for Victoria's Secret the month of June? I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. And of course, this groundwork, to answer your question, Brooklyn, started in college, right? Because she was already a social media phenomenon in college, right? She had that shoe block that had about 1 million views. She had some TikToks with like 10 million views and things like that, where she was dancing. And when she decided to do the social media stuff, it was something that her manager said, "Hey, you can do this to broaden your appeal." And then when she started to do it, so then after that championship, they decided to pick companies that they want to work with, where she has an element or a level of control. So if there's something about the companies that she doesn't like, then according to her, she's not going to do them. She said even with the Reebok thing, she met the CEO right down to the people in the head office. That's why, if you remember, during All-Star Weekend press conference, Meg from USA Today had asked her, I'm not sure if you know all the details, but the Barbie doll, and Angel corrected her and said, oh no, I'm involved in everything. She said everything. So she has a strong will, a strong personality, and you can see that from when she was in high school, because there's a lot of stuff on her in high school. You can just go back and look at it, because she was a phenom in high school. So there's a lot of games, there's interviews with stuff, for you to see her into her sophomore year, if I remember correctly, but maybe even as a freshman in high school. So she's grown up, right? But I don't think she was ever ghetto or ever this or ever this or ever that. No, I think she's always handled herself like a professional. So to what you said earlier, the stuff that they said about her, that's just a meme, right? Because even today they peddle her as a ghetto girl. They peddle her as a ghetto queen, even though we know that's not true, right? She's very well spoken. She's very well balanced, and she has a sense of humor. She's simultaneously an introvert but an extrovert, because when she's around people, she has fun. She had a lot of fun, but these people want to critique every single thing she does. But Angel doesn't care about that. She's a, so to answer your question, she's at the point where she knows she's a very, very good basketball player who can be a great or all-time basketball player. She knows that she's done a lot of things for women's basketball and for the WNBA on how to market yourself. Like, you can't convince her that she's not that girl in a lot of these things. So all these people saying that, it's not going to change that, because she has the self-confidence to know this. And so right now she's on a mission to do all the things that she wants to do. And that's with her basketball game, and that's with her career off of the basketball court. And if you ever hear her speak, or if you ever follow her online in social media, she always gives you tidbits on where her goals. And she actually writes her goals down, she says. So she always has goals. So to answer your question, one of the reasons how she deals with this stuff, because she doesn't want to let go of her goals. So does she have down periods? Does she have emotional periods? She does. But she always seems to come back from them, because resiliency is the key. Because if you're a robot, eventually stuff is going to get you or you're going to explode. So the key is, how do you deal with it and how do you rebound? And she keeps doing it spectacularly. It's like that line a lot of her fans like to say, the more you put her down, the more you talk about her, the more you this, the more she rises, the better she does. And the more, because you're not going to stop her train. Her train is going to keep riding, both on the basketball court and off the basketball court. So it's the strength that she had as a kid. Because like I said, you can see interviews when she's 18 years old, when you can see that resiliency and confidence that she has. She's not like some shy girl. No, she knows exactly what she wants. And she spoke it to word. Like, she's the kind of kid that was like, I'm going to do this, that. And then she does it. So it's that confidence, maturity, determination, and the ability to be the best at everything that she wants to do is why she's able to withstand and ride these things along with her family and her team. And now with Atlanta, hopefully, presumably, the teammates that give her that support.
All of the things.
Everybody, hold on. I know you up here. Everybody welcome my brother, Hot Tracks, to the panel. And do me a favor, everybody hit the like button. Everybody, if you haven't hit the like button yet, hype the channel up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Get Hot Tracks.
All of the things the supremacists hate. They don't like nobody who's confident or sure of themselves. They look at her like, who does she think she is?
Right.
You know, the double standard is this. You know, before, oh, she wants to just be everywhere. She wants to be in everybody's face. She's ghetto. She this and this. But you see Sophie Cunningham showing up, smiling, doing the same thing, but even, wearing it, exposing clothing and everything else. But with her, oh, she's the life of the party. But let Angel do some stuff is like a total opposite,
Yeah.
comment about it. But that was it.
No. Keep going because that you hit the nail on the head with what you're saying, but now I want you to shift a little bit, and talk about this topic. So basically, this topic, I don't know if you joined in the middle, if you heard me from the beginning, but basically, this topic I'm talking about is everything y'all speaking of, everything you just said just now, hot tracks. But I want to know specifically from the angle of how Angel Reese handled all of this, right? Because I don't think the reason why I brought this topic up is because I don't think Angel actually gets enough credit when she does things that either how sometimes people do things you be like, couldn't have been me. You get what I'm saying? So she
Yeah.
does things where it's like she took the high road when she ain't have to, or B, she has some growth in a particular area and people not giving her credit for it. So for instance, one easy area to look at is her game, right? We've seen her game grow over the past 2 to 3 years. She's been in the W. We've seen her game grow, and you still have people who won't stop and be like, damn, this girl's really gotten better. We will, but the masses won't. And then even some way, like I said in the beginning, I personally never had an issue with the way Angel Reese answered questions. I love her realness. I love her unapologeticness. But the critique on the main media, of course, they're going to say anything about Angel, was that she didn't have the media training. Well, you can't say that no more. The way she answered questions now, and the way she dealt with the media now, you could tell something happened behind the scenes where she talked to somebody, maybe Shaq or somebody, and they like, listen, stop giving them so much in the media, right? Because now she still keeps it real, and she still, like, even when you look at the last of the how she accepted the apology, it was very professional. You get what I'm saying? She didn't throw Sandy under the bus. She didn't throw the she shot it out the WNBA, said we going in a good light. Like she could have really said, yo, the way the refs, she could have threw the refs under the bus. She could throw the WNBA under the bus, because we as fans, we could see it. They not handling Angel Reese's stardom the right way. They squandering it. We kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday. She not throwing nobody under the bus. Even Chicago, her leaving Chicago was classy. Like she could have threw Chicago under the bus and talked about all the BS she had to deal with. She ain't do nothing. She didn't do nothing but give everybody grace and credit in Chicago. So I want both of y'all. Hold on, let Hot Tracks go first because he just got up here, MSN, and you go after. I want both of y'all to talk about the classiness that everything that y'all mentioning that Angel Reese has been going through since she won a championship. I want y'all to talk about her classiness and how she navigated all that and still is the queen today that she is.
Well, I think a lot of it is just her character and how she was raised.
Right. Talk about it. Giving her mama credit. Good. I like that. Talk about it.
And how she was raised, and also she understood at a young age, being a young Black woman, you're gonna have to work 10 times as hard as everybody else and get half of the credit. She already understood that coming in. So, and again, I have to commend her because we did see her growing up in front of us. She's always been well spoken. She might have gave him a little too much, to play with in the beginning.
Right.
But you can see now she's a functional CEO the way she's now. You know what I'm saying? And she's 23 years old or 24. Like it ain't a whole lot of people way older than her handle things the way she handled it. So I gotta give her the utmost, respect for that. But yeah,
absolutely.
She say one of the keys is she have a small circle, a bunch of good people around her. That's key or whatever. But I'm just glad that she understands what she's maneuvering around, and she also understands that the WNBA is, what basketball is what got her in there, but her end game is not basketball. So it's bigger than all the little nonsense that's happening, but she'll tolerate it because she's doing what she got to do with her brand, and at the same time making people throw up in their mouths.
Exactly.
Every time she, succeed and hit another milestone.
Facts.
And again, the supremacists don't like that. They don't like nobody who's sure of themselves and all of that stuff. So, that's it.
To your point, and I'm gonna keep this short and sweet, but I want to piggyback off what he's saying, and you go MSL. To your point, Hot Tracks, I'm sure they didn't like the fact that she was the one that threw the alley oop or the pass, I should say, to Malaga for the dunk, because now that got her on social media, that got her being looked at. They was trying to, again, with this game, you can tell that this game was not the highlight Angel Reese, but it wasn't the highlight none of the big players. Like I said, Asia Wilson didn't do nothing. Malaga, pretty much all she did was get the dunk. Like, if you was a bigger player, if you were forward, they ain't care about you in this game. This game was all about the guards and how many threes you could put up. So I know they wanted Caitlin to come out for the marketing side of it. They wanted Caitlin to come out and hit a few logo threes and have a big game so they could just, keep putting that on repeat on social media for the audience they wanted. And instead, they, because the shooting wasn't that great. So instead, what they got was they got a dunk hair, right? I'm trying to think what else was a highlight. It wasn't many highlights from that game. I know it was a dunk that they keep showing over and over. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of stuff on my feed is Angel on the bench. I don't know if that's because I got a lot of Angel people on my feed. I don't think so, right? I do got a lot of Angel people on my feed, but it's usually more balanced than this. All I've seen on my feed is all Angel Reese and her pink hair, her on the bench, her with Asia Wilson. That's all I'm seeing on my feed right now, and I'm sure they're not happy about that. What you got for MSL?
Sorry. You know what happens? Sometimes if you press it too fast, there's a delay. Like, let's say if you press it twice, it'll come on, go off. So I was playing with that. But when you talk about how she handled stuff, right? The thing is that people don't realize is she not only handled a lot, but she processes information. She talks to people. She has a lot of contacts in the league. But because of what we've always discussed, the media is never going to tell you these things. Like, the media will never portray her as a smart, affable business person who people gravitate to and who lights up a room and people want to be around her. Even when she was a rookie, right? The best players gravitated to her. If you saw her in an All-Star game, or if you saw her in Unrivaled, if you saw her, for example, in USA Basketball, they asked Chelsea Gray, what do you do? She said, I don't know. I don't do much. I just hang out. I just hang out with Jackie, Ka, and Angel. Boom. Now, the regular fan would never think that. They would think, well, how does a second or third year player have, those type of relations? But that's how Angel is. And that's something that's not communicated in the media. So, for example, when she came into the league to get into dealing with adversity, she's talked about this on her podcast. Kathy was not too nice to her. And I'm going to say all of this to what you're asking, Brooklyn, to give you what you want. So, for example, Asia didn't go out and complain and tell people in the media, I don't like how I'm being treated. I don't like this. I don't like this. Yeah, she did make that comment that they didn't like when she said, I drew fans to the game too, which is 100% true. So, because Angel, she doesn't say a lot, but she says enough to speak for itself, but she doesn't say a lot. So she did that. So she knew. So she was offered the corporate deal that we always talk about. She rejected it. I think she also knew, to your question, Brooklyn, that when she rejected Nike, she knew what was going to happen by rejecting Nike, because Nike has its technicals in everything. And she knew it was going to be an uphill battle as far as that. But she liked Shaq. Shaq went to LSU.
Hold your thought. Don't forget what you're saying. I had to stop you for the stupidity. Don't forget what you're saying.
Sure.
Y'all see what the hell this motherfucker just said? I had to stop just to laugh. We don't even got to show it no attention. I had to stop just to laugh at this statement right here. Andy talk about the league doesn't push Sheezy enough. Just my opinion. I just
Okay.
had to laugh at that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead, Natal.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
That type of stupidity, that just be on my tracks. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. So Shaq. What did I do with this? Okay, it's right here. So yeah, so Shaq had actually offered her a sneaker deal, according to her on the podcast with the Obamas in 2022, and she said no. So obviously, Shaq was someone who knew what he wanted when he saw it at an early at an early stage. So she rejected the corporate deal. If you listen to what she says on her podcast, Kathy wasn't too nice to her. It almost sounded like Kathy hates her. But guess what? She never came out and said, Kathy don't like me, Kathy don't like me. We had a discussion yesterday that Chicago could have been part of a setup, right? Because Kurt Miller, who's now with Dallas, who thought Angel was going to Dallas before Smesco called Angel at the last minute and begged her to come to Atlanta. He said that he wanted to draft Angel number 2, and he was told, and him and Magic Johnson wanted to draft Angel, and they were told not to. So the excuse or the reason is that Jeannie Buss, wanted the Cam Brinks, the whole blind California thing, supposedly. But then you've also heard Cheryl Miller and other people say that or elucidate that Angel was badmouthed by the league. So then she ends up in Chicago, a horrendous organization minus their 2021 title. And Angel, to talk to you about maturity, that was always there. She had already spoken to Cock Hopper. She had already spoken to Gabby Williams. She had already spoken to Courtney Williams. And they had all told her that Chicago was a horrendous organization. So when Teaspoon got fired, she wrote a brilliant piece about Teaspoon, basically saying, I love you, this, that. She made it very clear that she was not happy with Teaspoon's firing. However, she didn't attack the organization. She just made it clear how much she liked Teaspoon. So here's what she did, which no one in the media talks about. Over the course of the next year, on all these all-star games, on Rival, etc., Angel was soliciting offers from Jackie Young, from Cock Hopper, from Fee, from all these people on these different teams before her agent actually formally asked for a trade, which they claim was not a trade. She was doing this on her own. That's the maturity that she had. She was already building up her departure from Chicago. So then they hired Tyler Marsh, and Tyler Marsh called her and said, he called her, he didn't call anybody else. He called Angel and said, hey, I love you from college. I want you to be my point forward, da-da-da. So she was like, okay, I'll give it a try. I'll work with you, Tyler Marsh. And then so she stayed with Tyler Marsh, but then when Jeff P made that whole thing about, a half-game suspension, guess what? And they don't talk about this in the media as well. Angel went online, took away everything that she had associated with Chicago online, got rid of it. Her number, the colors, everything. She stopped talking to Jeff P. She stopped talking to the owner. She stopped talking with everyone in the organization. And then our agent apparently went down to the practice and basically said, we out of here. And Alexis Philippou of ESPN has confirmed this. I know everybody likes to say, she didn't ask for a trade. That's BS. Alexis Philippou, who's probably the most accurate reporter when it comes to this stuff, she said that Angel's agent went there. They decided to have a trade to shop, but it would be discreet, and it's not something that would be talked about. And supposedly, depending on who you listen to, it was 13 teams, but Angel had it whittled down to 7, and it was reported that Dallas offered Enrique and 3 to 4 number 1 picks, but Angel turned it down because, to go to your argument that you said the other night, Brooklyn, because she felt that she had a sisterhood potentially in Atlanta, and you were saying that she went there also for that peace of mind that she could have going to Atlanta, besides the fact that the team they had. And Paige thought she was going there because they made a Paige video at USA Basketball where Paige said, don't worry, we'll be on the same team in a couple of weeks. And then Angel looked at her and laughed. So when you go to the maturity, because you want me to keep bringing this up, Angel didn't say a word. It was Paige that leaked it. Angel didn't say a word. So she's very on point with launches and releases and what she's going to say and what she's not going to say. So when that trade was done, Angel never said a word about the trade. She didn't complain. She didn't give signs. She didn't say, she said nothing. And if you remember, on the day of that trade, it was her people that were involved, not the Chicago Sky. It was Taylor Rooks, who was her reporter. It was the Atlanta Dream that was talking about the ticket sales and the Barbie Dream House and all this stuff. Chicago wasn't involved. So that's another way it lets you know that Angel controlled that trade. And then if you remember, a few weeks after, then Jeff P started putting out the hit pieces and so forth like that. So she knows how to play. She knows how to play the game. And then when she got to ATL, it wasn't an immediate fit. Going back to your maturity, right? You could see that her and Jordan Canada were trying to get on the same page because Angel was handling the ball in Chicago half the time and running the offense. So now you got a ball dominant guard and a ball dominant other guard in Ryan Howard. So how's she gonna fit in? And you saw that sometimes they were butting heads. They didn't know how to get her the ball down low. But to your question, Brooklyn, she didn't complain to the press. She didn't say nothing out loud. She didn't do that. She just loved on them, the ones she knew, Leash and Ryan, and then tried to work and have a better relationship with Nas and Jordan Canada. And one time during a press conference when Jordan Canada was there, so it's not like she said it behind her back, she said, me and Jordan are still trying to work out on things. Sometimes she missed me, sometimes I miss her. And I think what has happened is it's made Jordan Canada a better point guard, which Angel doesn't get credit for, because I honestly believe that if Jordan kept playing that sloppy point guard she did in the first month of the season, Angel either would have done it herself or would have campaigned to do the point forward, because Jordan was inconsistent in the beginning of the season. But if you watch them on the court, or if you listen to Angel, you can tell that Jordan Canada has made her better, which is why every time Jordan does an interview, she bigs up Angel. And she also said on a USA broadcast that Angel is an excellent playmaker. You know, when they ask, well, what do you think people should know? Because obviously she knows this, because Angel's probably in her cross saying, look, da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. But she doesn't say any of that to the press, right? Every time they ask her a question about Atlanta, it's nothing but love, 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 love. So regardless of what's going on with the team, because, you know, there are a lot of people who want to say that they hate each other, or some of them hate each other. Angel never feeds into it. She's always positive. She always uplifts her teammates. She's always positive. She always says she loves Atlanta. She keeps it to herself, and she always tries harder and to move on. And at 24 years old, to deal with everything that she's done with all the outside noise, all the so-called outside haters, the media, not supporting you or anything like that, she has done a 100% excellent job. And there's still things she needs to improve on. I'm sure she'd like to improve her percentage, and she'd also like to improve her interior passing, which will help her percentage. And hopefully with the arrival of Bree Jones, that will happen, because we all know Angel is a better passer than she showed the last 10 games. The first 10 games, she averaged almost 4 assists like she did last year, but now her assist average is down to 2.5, and I think 2.4, and she needs to improve that. And I also think that will help her shot percentage.
That's a great point. You got anything extra, MSL? I mean, not MSL, Hot Tracks? All right, so we're gonna if Hot Tracks don't have nothing to add to that, we're gonna move on to my next topic.
In response to your question, Brooklyn, did I show what you had asked for as far as her dealing with adversity and
no, you did an amazing job. You hit the nail on the head. You even touched on a point that I forgot to mention that I wanted to add, so you added it, which was how she handled herself on the court in Atlanta, and not taking a high road with the refs, and just different people she could throw under the bus. Like you said, teammates, stuff like that. You could tell she's going through this with class, especially with the refs, because
she's obviously getting targeted. We've seen it from the beginning of the season.
Correct. I agree. Correct.
And she's not letting it get to her. She's keeping her head held high.
So Brooklyn, real
yeah.
quick, one question for you, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a player get scrutinized the way she do?
No. I mean, the closest.
Sport.
I'm about to say the closest similarity right now was probably Shador, and that's why you see a lot of people doing the Shador Angel channels. Like they either talk about her or they talk about both of them.
Right.
What happened? We all know what happened with Shador in the draft was a travesty. Like that's crazy. Somebody as talented as him falling to where he fell to in the draft and what he had to go through in his rookie season. I apologize. I don't know why I got the hiccups.
Shador, but if I can say so, Brooklyn, Shador doesn't get the hate that Angel does, and I'll tell you why. Because
I wouldn't say that.
At least half of those.
Hold on. I would say that they both. I want you to finish, but I just want to respond that she doesn't get the hate. In my opinion, it's probably different. It might even be the same because she came out of college with it. He came out of college with it. The difference is she has a direct person. It's like a direct villain. It's a Batman Joker situation, whereas his Joker is the NFL. Like he's dealing. It's not a person. It's the organization that he's coming into that's shedding hate on him. So I would say it's similar. I wouldn't say it's very similar. It's real close. Even if it's different, you can even say it's the same, but it's very close in my opinion.
They don't get the same hate, and that's my opinion. Obviously, you can have give
your opinion. Get it.
And I'll give you a couple reasons why. First of all, 3/4 of the sites, particularly the black male sites that hate on Angel, actually support Shador Sanders. There are not many of them that don't support Shador Sanders. As a matter of fact, it's the ones who stop supporting Shador are the ones who will say, I used to support Shador, but I had to stop doing that because all these people were anti-Angel, which is another indicator to me that they're taking money. Because how do you hate on Angel with racist stuff, but then claim you like Shador? But a lot of them do, and I had peeped that early. So from that reason alone, Angel's going to get more hate because most of them black male sites that hate on Angel, they like Shador. It's only the white guys that don't like Shador. There's a lot of white guys that don't like Shador. However, the media supported Shador. That's the thing that y'all keep forgetting because Dion worked with the NFL Network. He had a lot of friends. He had a lot of plans. And most of the people in the media, they supported Shador. Nobody in the media supported Angel from the moment she came up because whether it's because she didn't take the corporate deal, she's not with Nike, she didn't kiss ass, she didn't make certain deals with political factions or whatever, Angel does not have that institutional support that Shador does because most of the people on the major media, they like Shador and supported him. It was the internet clowns and idiots that didn't like Shador, but he got a lot of love on ESPN and on the NFL Network, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, there'll be people who have shows that didn't like him, maybe Colin Cowherd and people like that. But for the most part, they supported Shador. And the other argument is, and this is no disrespect to Shador, Angel's been a top high school player from when she was a sophomore. The best, ranking with the best in the country till her senior year, where her and Paige Beckers were the best in the country. Shador was never a player like that. Whether in high school, he wasn't. He wasn't that type of prospect. As a matter of fact, I think he was a 3-star prospect coming out of high school or something like that. And he had always played with his father, and he was always coached by his father. So you can make an argument that there was a lot of unknown on Shador Sanders, whether you like it or not, or believe it or not. Whereas with Angel Reese, that was never in question. She was the number 1 or 2 high school player. She was the number one transfer. She won a national championship. She's first team All-American. She was the MVP of the NCAA tournament, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Shador didn't have that resume. So for that, sorry, Hot Tracks, real quick. So them hating on Angel made no sense. Them hating on Shador was they can just like Bronny James. You can say, hey, I don't know if I believe you're as good as they claim you are, because there's a difference between what the media says and what the teams say. Because the teams didn't really like Shedeur like that, as far as I know. It was the media that liked Shedeur. But the teams had him pegged between third and the fifth round. But if you only listen to the TV, it sounds like he would be one of the first 2 or 3 picks. It was like when we talked about Cam Newton the other day. The media, who didn't like Cam Newton, they made it sound like Cam may not even get drafted, but Cam was always going to be the number 1 pick. And the Carolina Panthers at the time said that because they had already done a background check on him and saw that he checked out. So the media a lot of times says one thing when the football people say something else. And Angel fell to the quote-unquote 7th pick, right? Kind of like James Pierce with Atlanta fell to the 21st pick. But one was still 21, one was still 7. Shedeur fell to the 5th round. So you're telling me if he had James Pierce or Angel Reese talent, that he would have fell to the 5th round?
All I see with him falling to the 5th round is that it was a system working against him, which we see now. That's exactly what was happening.
And that happened to Angel, but she still got picked at 7.
But the difference between the NFL, they have a tighter grip on what they want to do and who they want to give the green light to, as opposed to the WNBA is the uncontrolled commodity.
Well, the WNBA, I'm not arguing with you because you're a good guy, Hot Tracks, but the WNBA, from what I can see, is one of the nastiest groups. Because if you just look at how the Chicago Sky treats its players, no one is worse than the WNBA. And some people argue that the league was in cahoots against Angel to make sure she went to Chicago, because apparently Adam Silver and Michael Alter went to school together. And also, if you look at Sloot was also involved in getting rid of Teaspoon and getting rid of Kennedy Carter. And because of her relationship with Jeff Pagliacca, and the way they treated Angel in Chicago, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. So I mean, I'm just saying that Shedeur, right? If Shedeur is starter worthy, then he's going to start, because at his salary and at his age, they're going to give him that chance. If he's not and he gets cut, then he gets to go somewhere else and to show what he has. But if he's going to play backup behind, I forgot his name, the dude with the $250 million contract, then we'll see. But
He'll get back eventually.
But to Brooklyn's point, Angel has handled all that professionally, and I would argue that 90% of the players in the league, including CeCe, could not handle and deal with what Angel Reese has dealt with the last 3 to 4 years.
You see that? She can't deal with the calls.
And a lot of what
and respectfully, again, I respectfully disagree, simply for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think Hot Track's question, and you correct me if I'm wrong, was have anybody else have I ever seen this before? Like, have anybody ever went through anything similar to what Angel was going through, correct?
Right.
All right. So if that's the case, I'm not going to compare them. I mean, whoever you think is going through it worse, you could compare that, but they both going through it, right? And these are both 2 black athletes. These are both 2 young athletes. And like I said on multiple times, on multiple different lives, I'm going to stand up for all black everything. I'm going to stand up for what's right. So when I see an injustice going on, I'm going to speak up about it. I ain't afraid to. You know what I mean?
And that's fine.
And I'm not, this is not towards you. This is just my opinion on them. So, but, so again, I'm not, when you take a look at what's going on and again, Ryan Clark just exposed it, but we already knew. We've been saying this for years, but it's been exposed by Ryan Clark when we see, these mega companies doing this to our own, right? To our own, because they feel like they can. And another reason why I feel like their situation is similar is the father, right? The father in Shedeur Sanders' case is similar to Angel, right? The reason why Shedeur is going through what he's going through is because they don't like the fact that they don't like the father, right? They didn't like Dion, and they feel like, especially with Dion and Shador not coming from nothing, not needing the NFL, right? And then on top of that, with NIL, not needing the NIL and being able to have your own money, they wanted to make an example out of him, right? So that's another thing that I feel like is a similarity. I need because Angel is that. Angel is the I can't think of the right word, but she's the
Poster child.
Not the poster child, but she's a threat. She's a threat to the power structure. You get what I'm saying? Somebody that's coming in her own business. You can't control me. I control this. I'm doing this. That's another similarity both of them have, and that's what they don't like. They want to your point, to Hot Track's point, buck break it. Right? I see him post that in the chat, and then you've been saying that as well in a different way, MSL. Right? So y'all points is saying that they're threats. And then with this part, I disagree. Everybody knew that Shador was the best quarterback in the draft, and you could even argue that maybe he was second best, but everybody was saying that he was 1 and 2 in the draft. He was supposed to be the first quarterback taken off the board. There wasn't no question about that. He didn't fall to 5th round because of talent. He fell to the 5th round. He fell to the 5th round because they was trying to make an example. It ain't have nothing to do with his talent level. He was supposed to be in the first. He was supposed to go in the first round, and he was supposed to be either the first or the second quarterback taken. Period. You get what I'm saying? But they wanted to make an example of that black man, and you could even see it. And this is why I got so much respect for Shador, because just like we just said about Angel, what he does in the media is he's smart and he catches them every time they try to trip him up. He catches them and he throw it back on them. Why would you ask me that? Why would you ask me a question about my coach? Why are you trying to create division, right? So as a young man, he's a very mature, he's a very smart young man. As far as what you're saying about how media outlets take him about who's choosing who, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. They all, those guys is trash. But as far as the human beings, as far as Shador himself, and as far as Angel herself, a young black man, a young black woman that's going through discrimination and things that they shouldn't, I'm gonna stand up for both of them. So I believe, like I said, I'm not gonna compare them or act like one is better than the other or put them against each other. I'd rather stand up for both of them.
See, I don't like the back and forth either, but the thing I'll add is Angel has been an all-star her first 3 seasons. Regardless of the who, what, when, how, and why, what happened to Shador, he's not. But Angel is still getting. You can't compare that, MSF. Angel got the minutes, and he didn't. He was buried on the bench. How you gonna be an all-star level talent? No, I'm not comparing. And let me just say this: I know it's not going to be happy with the chat. It's not going to be. But I forgot his name. Jeff Darlington. That's his name. Jeff Darlington, who's a really, really, really good NFL reporter who has a lot of contacts with the scouts. He did an article before the draft. And he said, based off my conversations with the NFL people, he said that Shador is going to be a 3rd to 5th round draft pick, and he was right on the money. And he said this before the draft, and I believe him because due to my activity in the past and how I look at things, like I said earlier, there's a difference between what the media says and the so-called draft guys that come on ESPN, like the Mel, whatever, Kuipers and all these people, is totally different than what the teams actually think. Those guys are just selling stuff, but unless you speak to the actual teams and say to them, hey, and sometimes the teams lie because they want one guy, so they say one thing. But Jeff Darlington actually said he'd be a third to 5th round pick, and there were a couple others. Bucky Johnson, who's black, by the way. Bucky Johnson used to work with the NFL, and he had said similar things as well. So those were the people that I listened to. And I wasn't listening to all the people on ESPN and CBS because they were just selling stories. And Bucky Johnson, if I'm saying his name correctly, but his first name is Bucky, Jeff Darlington, and a couple other people, they were like, they're hearing he's a 3rd to 5th round pick, and they were right on the money. And so I know people don't like to hear that. And like I said, I'm not even trying to put the two against each other. I'm just saying, regardless of whether you feel Shador was treated fairly or not, what I'm saying is Angel has a better resume and a better pro career for whatever reason, right? For whatever reason, but she still gets the hate. That's what I'm trying to say.
My thing, MSL, is why
why would you if you have two children that get hated on, why would you like you get what I'm saying? Like it doesn't matter.
But I don't think their hate is the same because all them black sites that hate on Angel, they love Shador. They love Shador.
But what about all the people that hate on him though?
Yeah, but
That don't
the
matter?
networks don't hate Shador. They like Shador.
This is just
I don't think their hate is the same. I'm not saying Shador doesn't get hate. Shador gets
Hey,
hate
listen,
from those
your
idiots,
opinion-
from those.
Hey, I was just asking the question, man. Your perspective is your perspective. Me personally, like I said, I don't care who gets hated on. I don't care how much they get hated on. It's not right, and I'm gonna always stand against that. I'm never gonna be on the side of this hate is okay or this hate is acceptable.
Yeah, but Shador and let's even talk about how you say they handle each other, right? Shador, and if you don't agree, Brooklyn, if you don't agree, then I'll just leave it at that. But Angel, if you actually watch what she says, not what they try to perceive her as, she comes off like a professional businesswoman. Sometimes when you speak to Shador, sometimes he comes off like a kid or a young man or someone his age. And when you're trying to run a team as a quarterback, you know, teams or coaches, they want to see a certain level of what they call maturity. It's not even just about talent. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong or Shador is a bad person, not at all. I'm speaking strictly optics, because I've watched a lot of Shador interviews or post-game interviews, and sometimes he could be a little goofy. And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
He's a young kid. I don't care. Like, you know, it's almost like what I said about Angel. When you had these old 40, 50-year-old guys talk about how she's supposed to be acting like a wife at 23 and 24. She's supposed to be acting like a 22-year-old. So if you're telling me that's it, Shador's acting his age, what's the problem with him acting his age?
Well, I don't have a problem with it, but there's a difference. But it all depends on the coach.
I think it's only a problem because they want it to be a problem. Shador, I think he says the right things at the right times and everything, and he might be a little childish sometime or goofy, like you say, but I have never seen him like really represent himself in an extremely bad way. He might have said a couple things he shouldn't have said, but just like Angel has grown, I think he has grown too. But at the end of the day, there's a system that's working against both of them, and they're trying to break both of them.
Yeah, that's kind of how I stand on it. I'm gonna support Angel as long as I can. I'm gonna support Shador and anybody else. It's not just them too. Anytime I see some injustice, I'm gonna support that. So again, I'm not mad at everybody's perspective. They perspective. I'm not expecting everybody to be me. So I get it.
But let's go back. Well, let's go back to your question, because I think we don't make enough of it, and the media is certainly not going to make enough of it. She took a really, really bad situation in Chicago and made it work for her 100%. And because the media will not give Angel Reese credit for being a boss, this is why you're having this show. We have to bring it up because she went into, because remember, rewind, there were a lot of fans. The fans were split, right? Half the fans said, "Oh, she out of there because, you know, she's got money and she's got time and she's gonna be screw y'all." And then the other half was like, "Oh no, Chicago, they have her rights, they have her this, she can't do nothing. And if you remember what was going on, they were selling the practice facility, right? That was to keep her. They brought the All-Star game there, presumably that was to keep her. They even started talking about new ownership and lawsuits and all of this stuff, presumably to get her to want to stay. But I did the math in my head at the time, and I said, this is not going to work. But the first thing I said to myself was, you know, there's no way that you can sell a team within 2 months before the season started. And I don't see Angel wanting to get traded in the middle of the season to mess up her stats or the team or the flow or whatever. I just didn't see that. So I didn't see a team being sold, but there were people pushing, oh, the team was going to get sold. Excuse me. Da. So, but apparently it turned out a trade was already worked out while we were having this, while we were having this discussion. And it was a place where she handpicked and wanted to go to. because Dallas would have been a great team. Obviously, if she would have went to Dallas, looking at what Shepard is doing, Angel would have probably been averaging 17 to 20 points, 5 to 7 assists with whatever rebounds that she would have. But here's the difference, because we was all like jaw drop, like, boy, I wish she was on Dallas. I wish she was on Dallas. But now with Bree Jones back, now you look at the Atlanta team and you know why she went there.
Hold on, before you get to Atlanta, you can't say that, because I gotta remind people, Jessica Shepard is not dealing with the same type of refs that Angel is dealing with. So the freedom that she gets, right? The non-calls, all of the stuff that she gets, Angel wouldn't have been getting. If Angel would have went to Dallas, the refs would have been calling her for the same travels and stuff like that they calling for in Atlanta. So you can't really say that, because it's not going to be the same, right? Jessica Shepard isn't as targeted as Angel is. So the freedom that she gets to play with, Angel don't get to play with. And then on top of that, the second thing is this: Angel draws double teams. Jessica Shepard don't draw no double teams. So she's able out there to do what she's doing off of Paige Becker's gravity, right? With Angels out there, they sending 2, 3, 4 people at her. So it's gonna be hard. But like, Angel gonna always be Angel. I think her number's gonna be the same everywhere she go. But to say that she would have been able just to slide in and do what Jessica Shepard is doing, I don't think so, because they get guarded differently and they get ref differently.
No, I said more. I said because Jessica's averaging 14 points a game.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is Jessica is able to average that 14 without the refs calling for her bogus calls.
Systematically.
You get what I'm saying?
No, I agree. No, I agree, but the reason why I said that, though I agree with you 100%, is because, to be fair, come on, we got to be fair, Jose at this point is playing a better brand of offensive basketball than Smeko is, because they know how to move the ball. So that's the only reason why I said that.
I disagree with that completely.
Oh, you do disagree? Okay.
Yeah, it's not even close. If you see again, a lot of people don't even understand Carl Semesco's offense. That say that they don't even know what Carl Semesco was doing. They don't even understand what they're saying.
Offense, Brooklyn.
Huh?
We've had some long discussions about his offense.
Not me. You haven't been in here. I've been consistent saying the same thing.
No, this was on Brocard.
Right, and I've been on Brocard channel saying the same thing. My conversation never changed. In fact, one of the reasons why I stopped going to stopped coming up on the panel was because I don't want to be negative, right? If everybody over there want to blame everything on Jordan Canada, if you want to blame everything on Ryan Howard, if you want to say Carl Semesco is the problem, y'all can knock yourselves out. Who am I to be the Grinch? You get what I'm saying? But if we're going to be on my channel, we're going to tell the truth. And none of that's the truth.
Yeah, but Brooklyn, there's a difference between theory and application. What you're saying may be right in theory, but the application for a good portion of the year, as far as the offense, the ball moved better. That's all I'm talking about, is the ball. The ball moved better in Dallas than it did in Atlanta for good. If there was a stretch of the season where Atlanta moved the ball very well, but would you argue that Dallas?
No, what I'm saying is y'all don't understand how the ball moves. So what I'm saying ain't got nothing to do with theory or application and none of that. What I'm saying is basketball offense and what Carl Semesco wants. So what you want as a fan, and you looking at it and you saying, I don't like what I'm seeing, I want you to do this. Or if you look at another coach's team and you just like that offense better visually, has nothing to do with what Carl Semesco is trying to do. My point is, you guys don't even understand the point of the offense. You don't even understand the offense at all. Y'all critique something y'all don't understand.
At the end of the day, it's results. And Jose's offense was getting better results for a good portion of. If Jose's offense wasn't good, Jessica Shepard would be averaging 9 points a game right now. Would you agree with that?
No. If the offense wasn't, if what Carl Semesco was doing wasn't good, he wouldn't have the record he has.
He's got 5 All-Stars in his starting 5.
And now we making up. It don't matter. He been winning before them All-Stars got him to his team.
Yeah, but that's golf, Florida golf.
No, that's the first year in Atlanta. He's been winning in Florida golf, regardless if you like it or not. It's the truth. Like I said, I deal with facts. He's been winning in his first year before Angel got there. and he's been winning in the second year when Angel was here. He's a winning, proven coach.
Just
So
so you
regardless if
just
you like it or not, it don't matter.
just so you know, and I know T Carmela's in the audience, and T Carmela has a very good memory. When all of these people were trashing the team after that losing streak, I was asked on many occasions, "What do you think?" And I said, well, with Bree Jones coming back, I think we have to, one, hold off on that, and two, I think Bree Jones coming back is going to have a dramatic domino effect on the team. So I wasn't one of those people.
Yeah, but all of those people, regardless if they was negative or probably positive, probably didn't even understand why they was losing in to begin with. So that's what I'm saying. People need to start to listen. Even myself, I'm not talking about myself.
Their ball screen
hold on.
terrible.
Hold on. I'm not talking about myself as if like I have all of the keys. Even myself, you could. In fact, the only reason why I could speak the way I'm speaking about Carson Mesco's offense, because I took the time, which most people didn't, to go research it and go, okay, this is what his offense is about. I didn't just look at it and say dumb shit like most people were saying, like, oh, all he want to do is shoot threes. I actually went and researched the offense.
Yeah, but
I think they have two different types of offense.
Yeah, they have two different styles.
The biggest piece of one of the biggest pieces of their offense, and one of the reasons why the ball moved around so much better, just came back. So I wouldn't compare their ball movement. You know, I would wait and probably compare. You know,
I wouldn't compare it at all. Though hot tracks, I wouldn't compare it at all because they move the ball totally different. Like they don't even move the ball the same, right?
Yeah,
their offense is totally different, so you can't compare it.
But going back to what we were saying, but with Bree Jones coming back, I think we can all see why Angel chose Dallas, because it's pretty much a complete team, and you have the two elder statements who are what, 30, 31, 30. I think Bree Jones is 32. I think Jordan Canada is 30. Leash is 32, though she don't look 32, I act 32. But then Nas is 26. Ryan Howard is 26. Angel's 24, just turned 24. Okot is 21. And Pow Pow is 23. And I'm missing someone. So they have an excellent blend of youth and experience. And if they get it together, because at the end of the day, whether you like this or not, Brooklyn, if they're going to win, it's going to be because of the coaching, because they have the talent.
Yeah, why wouldn't I like that? I agree. I think people been out of their mind saying that he's been a bad coach. Oh, yeah, I think it just shows me how much they know basketball. So I agree with you. It's definitely going to be because of the coaching.
No, but what I mean is that they have the talent. So it's not like you look at the team.
They have the talent. They have the coach. This is the championship team. They're not playing like a championship team, but they have everything they need to be a champion. Now, the only thing that you can critique it, if you want to say that they still need to make a move or they still don't have enough, you make a critique the bench, because the bench ain't really been good all year. In fact, that's really the reason that they've been struggling all year. Right? It ain't got nothing to do with the coaching. Correct. But yeah, so that's the one. That's the one. It's not really the defense. The defense has been good all year. The problem all year has been the shooting, the efficiency. That's been the problem. They've been a pretty good defense all year. That have they had certain games where they, got lazy on defense? Of course, that happens with every team throughout history. But they've been a top 4 defensive team all year long. Like that's what I'm saying. People don't know what they watching.
Yeah, but their ball screen. But even the players on the team have said their ball screen.
Yes, in the time. Yes, MSL.
And in the times
with MSL, no. In the times where they played bad, that's been the problem. In the times where they didn't play defense, that's the problem. That's what the players are saying. They're not saying that the ball screen defense is consistently bad. What they're saying is most teams in the WNBA run the ball screen. And so we got to stay. So what they're saying, hold on, listen to what I'm saying. Hold on, listen to what I'm saying. What the players are saying is we have to consistently have good ball screen defense, because in the times where we get lazy or we don't, or we miss an assignment, which we've seen them to do, right? We've seen them do that. They saying that we can't have those moments, because then our defense is going to fall apart.
Well, here's the thing. Minnesota, they had great defense in the first 10, 12 games of the year, or they were 12-4. Let's even say the first 16 games of the year, they had a great defense. And then the defense slumped off. It's been getting better, but it hasn't been what it was in the first 16 games. And the first 16 games, their offense wasn't that great as well. Jose Ball was killing them. Jose Ball don't have great defense, so that was the inverse, right? In those first 16 games, Atlanta was known to have a great defense, but their offense wasn't really doing anything. And Dallas had a great offense, and their defense wasn't really that great, which is probably one of the reasons why Atlanta kept beating those first two games Dallas, because they had great offensive players and they also played great defense. They play again on Wednesday when the season restarts, so it'll be curious to see what Atlanta's defense does to Dallas, or will Atlanta's offense be so good that the defense won't matter? So if you're saying to me, Brooklyn, that they'll hold Dallas to 87 points and they'll score 100, I'll be like, okay, great. But we'll see.
What I'm telling you is that Atlanta's defense isn't a problem. It's never been a problem. It's been their offense all year. But I'm also telling you that both Dallas and Atlanta's both pretty good teams. I like both coaches. So if you like Coach Jose Fernandez more, hey, that's your opinion. But I like both. I think Carson Mesco is a good coach. I think Jose Fernandez is a good coach. I think both coaches have good offenses as far as like the philosophy goes. Now that's up to the players to go execute the offense, right? But I think philosophy-wise goes, both coaches have good offenses, and I think both teams are well coached. So regardless of what happens on Wednesday,
so you're going with Carl's theory versus Jose's application or results?
I'm telling you that Carl's a good coach. Jose is a good coach. Both of their offenses are good offenses, and they both hold their teams accountable on defense. And that happens throughout it. Like whoever wins don't really matter, kinda, because that's just somebody got to beat somebody. It's really how you lose. So we'll see. I'm assuming that Atlanta, going through the losing streak they just went through, should be mature, right? They should be saying, okay, there's certain things we can't do anymore because we just came out of this. So we'll see how Atlanta comes, out of All-Star break. And the same thing with Dallas. Dallas had an inconsistent up and down first part of the year. So we'll see how they come out of the All-Star break. I believe both teams are definitely playoff teams. Both teams may be contenders depending on how seriously they take their teams. But I like, so far from what I'm seeing, is both teams have the potential to be contenders. And we'll see what happens on like their maturity from the first part of the year to the second part of the year. But these are two, when you have two good teams, two well-coached teams, somebody got to beat somebody. You just don't want to be, you don't want to get smacked in that situation.
Just so you know, Brooklyn, I had picked Atlanta to go 14-4 they last 18 games. So it's not that I don't believe in the team or Smesco. I'm just pointing out some of the benefits of Jose versus Carl. It doesn't mean that Jose is ultimately going to be the best coach. And the other component is it's hard to judge a lot of these first year coaches in the WNBA, because I don't know if we had this discussion or someone else had this discussion, but due to the salaries in the WNBA, the peak salaries are like $1 million for these coaches. So the top college coaches for women's, they're making $3 million a year. So you're not going to get a Dawn or a Kim Mulkey or one of those people to come to the WNBA, because they're going to come for a two-thirds pay cut, and most of them are not gonna do that. So you do get a lot of these either mid-level or mid coaches from the NCAA who haven't won a championship or who haven't gone to the Sweet 16 or something like that, or maybe it's once in their career or something like that. Or you're going to get assistants that are already within the league. Your Tyler Marshes, your Nancy, forgot her name, the one in Golden State. And Tyler Marsh appears like he may be a dud, though he's probably an excellent assistant coach. But Natalie Nakasi, she turned out to be at least at this tenure, a great head coach. That's the roll of the dice with the WNBA. So if you want to get better coaching in the WNBA, that they may want to increase the salaries to at least $2 million, right? Because maybe a top coach in college, maybe, would come to the WNBA for $2 million a year. But right now, you're not going to get any top coach in the women's game in college to come to the WNBA. It's going to always be people like Smesco or Jose, who also came from another school with a bunch of hyphens as well. But it turns out that Jose, at least offensively, knows what he's doing. Carl did a great job last year, but some people would argue, Brooklyn, that you didn't have free agency, so this year a whole lot of teams got better, and also Atlanta was kind of like a surprise. So we'll see what happens the rest of the year, because they had a similar record last year, then they went on a run, and hopefully they'll go on a run this year. And last year they had BG and Bree. This year they played without Bree for a little more than half of the year. So if they have a similar record as last year, they would have actually done a better job.
What do you like that Carl is doing that Semesco is not? I mean that Jose is doing that Semesco is not.
I think their offense is more efficient so far. If
I know, but tell me specifically. Like, I want to know specifically what he's doing.
They do they back to a cut more. They cut to the basket more. They play the two-man game. They play the two-man game a little better. They do the give and
so
go.
you do know all that's part of Carl Semesco's offense, correct?
It is, but they're just not executing.
So is that on the coach of the players?
Well, you could say it's on the coach if they don't practice it well enough.
You can't say it's on the coach if the coach is telling them to do it and they're not doing it, right?
Okay, I'm going to answer you a question. The first 12 games of the season, they either didn't do it or it was terrible. It was terrible.
You
they
don't even got to do all that.
I'm
asking. We don't have to make, because let's make this real simple. We don't got to do all that. I'm asking you about both coaches, right? I'm asking you about Jose.
I'll answer your question.
Carl.
Atlanta has been less consistent with that type of ball compared to Dallas. But Dallas had a similar issue, right?
But cool. That Atlanta has been less consistent, right? But if the coach wants them to do it, if that's part of Carl Semesco's offense and they're not doing it, is that on Carl or the players?
I think it's on the coach. But
Okay.
if players don't,
I'm not confused.
No, I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. If the players don't execute the offense, then it's up to the coach to say, okay, I'm going to have this person do it,
Gotcha.
or I'm going to sit you down.
So what would make it on the players for you?
Brooklyn, earlier this season, were they passing the ball?
That's a simple question. I ain't asked you about earlier this season. I just said, ask you a simple question. You said it's on the coach. So I'm asking you. Hold on. I want you to understand my question. MSI, I want you to answer my question. A coach could say all of that. I want to know, when is it enough for you to say, all right, now it's on the players?
Well, I'm not there at the coaching session, so I can't. So it's
never on the players for you. It's always on Carl. Got it. We can leave it at that. Ain't no argument. I just want to know your thought process on that. That's all. But we can move on. That was a great topic y'all brought up. We can move on to my next topic.
But before we run, can I just say one thing?
Got it.
Dallas had a similar problem. And what did Jose do? Jose got on the microphone and he said, there's a bunch of selfish people on this team. He called out his team. And guess what? After that, they started playing better. I'm not knocking Carl's demeanor because that's on him. But to this point, Smesco has yet to call out his team.
Gotcha.
Jose did it and they responded.
Carl, you like Jose better. I got you. It's all good. We don't have. It ain't gotta be long winded.
A lot of things I like about
understand.
Carl. I think Carl's a tactician.
It's cool. You ain't say it. That's not part of the question. Now we moving on to the next topic, and you probably have a lot of information on this one because I don't. And the people who in the chat, if you guys could fill in the pieces, go ahead, because I pretty much know the basics, right? But the next topic is about what the hell is going on with this messiness between Nalissa Smith, DJ
I ain't talking about that one, though. I can give you all the basics, but I ain't talking about this one.
All right, so you can mute up then. We can mute up. That's the next topic.
No, I said I can give you the basics, but I'm not going to
talk about it or not. It's all good. Ain't no forcing. But what we want to know is what's going on with
this triangle right here, this triangle quadruplet. I don't know what you would call it. Obviously, we know Dejanay just came out, and you know, I don't know all the details. Maybe somebody was like saying, maybe a fan was bothering her, or somebody was saying something, so she decided to respond, and she decided to say that she was being cheated on. Then Alyssa Smith was cheating on her with Dejanay Carrington and Leah Nah. You know, I hate to be toxic, but damn, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if I could blame her. Right? I don't know if I could blame her. You know what I'm saying? And then I recently and hold on, I'm about to land a plane so you can talk. Then I recently saw a video come out. I guess Alyssa Smith and Deja Kelly decided to show up to a party. I guess it was Jackie's party. It was somebody's party. I don't know who party. They said the ex's party. So I don't know if but they said Dejanay wasn't there. So I don't know. I don't really, but they ended up escorting Alyssa Smith out the party, right? Her and Jackie had a conversation. She got escorted out the party, and that's, you know, those are the things I know. So that video was circulating on social media with Alyssa Smith getting escorted out the party. I guess she came to somebody's party. I don't know if it was Jackie's party or somebody's party. I think it was Jackie's party, and somebody didn't like it. Whether Dejanay put in the call or Jackie was like, "Nah, we're not doing this." Because again, Alyssa showed up with Deja, so she got escorted out, and that's the little bit of information I know. If you MSL or anybody in the chat could like to fill in the pieces of what's going on with this, you know,
I'm sure T Carmella can fill in the blanks.
Yeah, she probably can. Listen, I already knew that Jackie and Dejanay Carrington was dating. And I already knew that Alyssa and Deja Kelly was dating. I had no idea about Aaliyah Nah. This is news to me that Aaliyah Nah is involved in this. But yeah, anybody who could fill in those blanks, I appreciate it.
I like your caption, by the way. You got all four of them in there.
Yeah.
Well,
so what you got on this MSL, or even Hot Tracks, if you know some information, what you got on it?
Well, Nalissa doesn't have bad taste, so I'll give her that.
Right.
Alyssa's a G.
It's just something that I thought we could talk about because it's news. But if nobody got no information, we can move on. I got another topic we can move on to. But you know,
it's funny though.
Look,
if y'all got some information, we can talk about it. Say it again.
I don't know nothing about none of that. I don't know nothing about none of that. I deal with straight people business though. No disrespect to nobody else.
Okay, I'll say.
I deal with Wnba News. I didn't ask them to put this out. They put it out. So we talk about it. This ain't something like I dug up and found Hot Tracks, right? This is news.
Look, hopefully T Carmella or somebody will come in, or Kathy.
Mo3 got the information. Mo3, what's going on? Hit the link, Mo3. Somebody got the information. Mo3 always knows what's going on.
Yeah, cause I'll just say this till Mo comes up. Me personally, I draw the line at certain things. I get it. You're a content creator, so I get it. You got to do this, Brooklyn. But I don't have to do nothing. But with me, I draw the line with you know, like even with Angel, like I don't get into who she's dating and who she's this and who she like. You guys have never heard me talk about, you know, who Angel dates unless he showed up at the game or something like that and he was somehow integral to the story or whatever I was talking about. But that's just me. But I'll listen to people who talk about all that other stuff. So if Mo wants to come up and give us the details, that's right. Fine.
But I feel like this is different because, again, news is news and who somebody is dating is another thing. So for example, like I said, I knew about Angel Reese and her boyfriend now. Right, it's not news. Like, what we gonna talk about with that? Like, that's nobody. I know about Asia and Bam. That's not news. What we gonna talk about? Right? I know about Alyssa Smith and Dejanay, right? And I know about Alyssa Smith and Deja, and I know about Jackie and Dejanay. I know about all of that. It was never nothing to talk about until Dejanay made it news.
Read what Carmella said, bro.
To me, who's dating? I know I got you. I will, but I'm making a point right now. Who's dating who? And
news coming out about a particular situation is two different things to me. You get what I'm saying? So I do what I'm saying. In other words, is I agree with both of what you and Hot Track said. Like, again, it'd be one thing if it was no news about it, and then somebody went and decided to dig in somebody personal. You know what I mean? That's one thing. But it's another thing when ain't nobody looking for nothing, and you just say, "Hey, I'm gonna just expose this information." You can't blame anybody for, you know what I mean? You making something public versus something being private is two different things, is what I'm saying.
No, I got you. She's talking about it, so it's fair. It's fair game. Well, I mean,
T. Camilla says, Brooklyn, Deja is that B. She definitely is that B. I give you that. I've been Deja one of the reasons why I'm a women's basketball fan, because I got into college before WNBA. I was a college women's basketball fan, then a WNBA fan, and Deja one of them reasons. Deja is that B. She had 2 top male athletes fighting over at UCLA, and she's also had 2 female basketball players fighting over at USA and Oregon. Listen, Deja a baddie, but I ain't gonna lie, to another extent, so is Aaliyah now. When I see her, like, Deja on another level for me, but when I saw Aaliyah now, I was like, okay, you know what I mean? It's some of them ones. And Dejanay is one of them too. She won, like, you got some of them in the WNBA. Some of them is those ones. And it's like, when you look at Nalissa Smith and her track record, you can't be mad at Nalissa Smith.
Nalissa's
you can't be mad at her. Regardless of what Hot Tracks is saying about straight or not straight, you can't be mad at Smith. Nalissa Smith is doing it better than some straight people.
Look, I love me some Shakira Austin, but I ain't gonna dip into what she's doing up,
Yeah, but to me that's still different, because again, I heard stories. Hold on, to Hot Track's point, I've heard stories about who Shakira Austin is dating, and it ain't news, so I don't care, to your point. But if something becomes public, if somebody makes something public, that's not the same. You know what I mean? But T. Camilla says, Brooklyn, Deja kept them hoes fighting. Now she has disturbed the peace amongst Alyssa, Dejanay, Jackie, and apparently Aaliyah now. Yeah, I feel kind of bad for Aaliyah now. I feel like she was throwing it in. She a young player in the league.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. And the thing is, it looks like Carrington started, quote unquote, dating, quote air quotes, Jackie in response to what Nalissa was doing, or to try to get back at her. And then, so whether that happened before or after the whole thing with Nye and Deja Kelly, but it's just complete. You know what? That's also what makes the WNBA the WNBA. Let's be real. There's always drama in the WNBA, either verbal drama or real life drama. And in this case, it's real life drama.
Facts.
But see, now we could talk about something topical, but if I say it the way I said it to the people I know, it would come off as mean. And maybe some people didn't like it. But on the flip side, I just thought that's something you should have kept to yourself, because you chose to make that decision. And now you're sitting up there probably feeling bad that you made that decision. And now you want to tell the media about it. But to me, you should have just kept that to yourself. And if you couldn't, then that meant that you really felt bad about it. I guess I might as well say it now, because I said too much. But Jonquel Jones, right? If it was me, I wouldn't have went to the All-Star game. Because,
well, I don't know what happened with that, because I seen her crying. I heard her talk. I don't even know that story.
Apparently, she had an aunt that had a funeral, and before the game started, she said her family. Well, this is what she said. Her family told her to go and play the game. That's what she said. They told her to play the game, right? And then she ended up winning MVP. So when the press started talking to her, she started breaking up, and she started, showing tears and getting emotional and stuff like that. And
I know. What I was talking about more, not to cut you off, but she had said something on a live or something. They said, and she was in the news being scrutinized about what she said about the 2024 team or something like that. That's what the part I missed. I saw what you're talking about on
on the All-Star
that I
game
don't
for the
know.
crown.
All I was saying was, if you want to be topical and controversial, is the All-Star game is the game that you cannot go to, because one, you'll still be an All-Star. You'll still be an All-Star. And it's not like you're letting your team down. I could understand if it was a playoffs and you not being there could let your team down and your team could lose. I could understand not going to your aunt's funeral and playing in a playoff game. But the All-Star game, give me a break. Like, I mean, she did end up winning the MVP, which kind of made her portfolio that much better. So if that's what she went, hallelujah, more power to her. But the fact that she was crying and so emotional about it, that tells me that she felt bad that she didn't go. She knew she should have been there. So I don't know why she went and played that game, because it's an All-Star game. She'll still be an All-Star even if she doesn't go. She'll still be an All-Star. But she went, and then she broke down when they were.
That's understandable though. Like, I mean, she's a human, so
I get that, but the All-Star game is not important because you're already an All-Star.
Everybody deal with they pain. You
how you feel about what I said?
Yeah, when you got a death, like, it's not like a scheduled breakdown. It just happens. Like, she probably could have thought she was cool, and then she got a big accomplishment, and she started thinking about her aunt.
Oh, T. Carmella answered your question, Brooklyn, as far as what JJ said. It's the comment T. Carmella made to me. The comment that's there now. Part 1 of 2.
People break down and cry for a whole lot less than that. So,
I got you. Like I said, it may not be a popular comment, but for me, the All-Star game, it's not important. It's not important to me to play it. If I really wanted to go, because it's not a playoff game. Yes, I can understand why you would want to play a playoff game. An All-Star game, whatever. But that's just me.
But pivoting all this back to Angel and all the drama that y'all was just talking about with the relationships and all that stuff, that's another thing to make her so great, because she about her business. She don't put too much of nothing out there,
Oh, T. Carmella is adding something to the mix about their championship team.
Yeah, that's the part I was talking about. That's the part she was in the media about. She was saying that they were saying that like she disrespected the team or something like that, and she was saying she didn't mean no disrespect, but what she was trying to say.
She also took up for Cece one time and talking about how people was hating, which look, bro, I'm not going to people that's not from here, but she took that same kind of position.
And she was also breaking up about, so I guess she was upset about a few things. And yeah, she was also breaking up about her aunt's funeral as well. So I guess JJ had a lot on her mind, but voila, she wins the MVP. And now I don't know if she's the first, because unless Asia has never won an MVP, but now they say she's the first person to win six women, to win MVP, regular season MVP, postseason MVP, and All-Star MVP. So now she has that
all the boxes.
Yeah. Which is ironic, because if you speak to most New York fans this year, they're not too happy with her play.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next topic. I got some ideas on how to fix the All-Star game. I mentioned some of them on the last show. I'm going to mention a few more today. In fact, I'm going to mention one that's very fucking simple that they probably just let slip their minds. And they should have had Olivia Miles and Caitlin Clark on 2 different teams. Right? Because if you have naturally 2 guards that like to get in transition and push the ball, right? You put them on 2 different teams, and then you allow everybody to play off that. So that's one easy fix that they could have did, that they just kind of dropped the ball on, putting Caitlin Clark and Olivia Miles on the same team, right? Because both of those guards would have kept both teams in transition, make sure the ball was flying up and down the court, and that would have easily made it a more exciting game for everybody to watch, right? Another thing they could have did where I think they dropped the ball on the All-Star game is simply how they put the teams together, right? There's certain things that's natural. You can have false rivalries, which is what they're trying to do in a W right now, which is not working, which is why we don't care, right? Paige versus Caitlyn, nobody really care about. I know people want that to be the rivalry because of the position, but the rivalry is natural and it always been Caitlyn versus Angel. That's what people want to see. You get what I'm saying? People tune in regardless of you tuning in to hate watch or you tuning in for support. People come to see that. That's box office, right? It's like a heavyweight fight. It's like Ali versus whoever, right? That's what people want to see. So the way the teams was constructed, they should have had the teams constructed where Caitlyn gets all of her Indiana Fever teammates, right? They should have had the stream constructed where Olivia Miles gets Paige and, Asia and a few others, right? They should have had this team constructed where all of the Atlanta reserves was on the Olivia team, right? And they should have just broke it down more of a way where people want to see one team beat the other. That's what we tune into sports for, right? Regardless of people saying stupid stuff like, "Oh, what you want the All-Star game to be super competitive and somebody get hurt?" No, the All-Star game has never been that. But you want to know what it has been before? We have seen two teams on both sides not wanting to lose. And the way you do that in the All-Star game is you just don't play as tough a defense you would in a regular game, but you still play some defense, right? You still get in, you still guard up, you still contest. You just don't, if somebody beats you, they beat you, right? You don't go out of your way to try to stop them. And that allows for better offense because the best offense has resistance, right? You add a little bit of resistance to the offense, and now you got to show me your dribble package. Now you got to make a pass that you wouldn't have had to make. Now we see an offense. Now we seeing certain things that, oh shoot, I want to watch this, but it doesn't mean that y'all playing 100% where somebody could get hurt. You know what I mean? I hate the idea that if we put a little bit of effort in, somebody gonna get hurt. That's bullshit because we've been watching All-Star games since when the All-Star game started in the 70s. We've been watching All-Star games since the 70s and the 80s, and nobody, the ratio or the percentage of people getting hurt in All-Star games is very low. So that's some simple things that they could do to fix the All-Star game. Another thing is, and I kind of just mentioned this, but I mention it in more of a detailed way. Another thing is more like teamwork, ball movement. Okay, you want to come down and shoot threes. That's cool. I don't mind a 3-point shot. What I mind is a over exertion of the 3-point shot, doing it too much or just doing it unnecessarily.
Yesterday.
That's the problem I have. I don't mind if y'all come down and set up a 3-point shot, but make it look cool. Come down, let Olivia Miles do a little crossover, hit somebody with a pass, have that person drive, do a no look and hit Marina and let her catch and shoot a 3. That's more entertaining than seeing Marina just walk up and y'all pass to her, she shoot a 3. Right? Like let me see Angel involved. Let me see Asia involved. Let them set the screen. Let it be some type of basketball happening. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see a misconception about basketball in general. This is not just All-Star game. This is definitely All-Star game related. But this is also a basketball thing that the nerds, and don't get it twisted because I don't have an issue with analytics. I have an issue with when you overly rely on analytics is my problem. But I don't have no issue with if analytics is part of what you're doing. Yeah, that's part of the growth and the evolution of basketball. There's nothing wrong with getting smarter because the same people who will tell you they don't like analytics will tell you the points, rebounds, and assists, which is analytics. You get what I'm saying? I hate when people say dumb shit. Oh, I don't like analytics. How much rebound she had? It's analytics. But anyway,
analytics with no context is the problem.
Right. You gotta understand all in all analytics. If you talking about analytics, first of all, any analytics, whether you're talking about advanced stats or you talking about regular stats that everybody know, it just tell you a small portion of the game. Or, you know what I mean? It don't tell you the whole game. You just got to understand what this particular analytic is giving you, what information is giving you. What is this telling you? That's all it is. But it shouldn't be how you look at basketball. You shouldn't look at basketball based off just numbers. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With the,
you need honesty with analytics, because you can create a picture like how things have been done. One person
Right.
could say CC is one of the greatest players of all time and make up some analytics to support that. And then
exactly.
another person will say the opposite. But it's all about who's going to have intellectual integrity and tell the truth.
Right. And then also you just got to know which analytics, they ain't really telling you nothing about the game, which don't really mean nothing. Like, okay, you know what I mean? Some analytics tell you something about the game. Some analytics don't tell you really nothing about the game. Right. So you just got to understand that. In other words, what we're saying is, if you understand what you're looking at, if you understand what you're reading, then you can understand what it's telling you about the game. And that's it. Don't overthink it. Don't overanalyze it. Just understand what this is supposed to tell you about the game. Yeah. But anyway, my point in saying all of that is all these things is necessary. All these things are important when it comes to the type of game that we want to see during the All-Star game. We just want to see a fun, up and down game where it's high tempo. We don't want to see them walking the ball up. We want to see a high tempo game. I'm sorry, I missed my point in why I brought up analytics. Let me get back to that. The whole reason why I brought up analytics is because for whatever reason, the people that overly look at analytics think that all people want to see is a lot of points. They think that just score as many points as you can and that's going to entertain the fans. No, that's not it. All they think is a lot of threes, which is point that kind of go hand in hand, right? They think that just shoot a whole bunch of threes and that's going to be exciting for the fans. No, that's not what fans want to see. Fans don't want to see offense without effort. Fans don't want to see offense without ball movement, without actual offense. I shouldn't say offense because that's what offense is. Fans don't want to see just scoring without offense, I should say. You get what I'm saying? We want to actually see some offense happening. We want to see some movement happening. We want to see some teamwork happening. And you can do all of that in the All-Star game without hurting each other. I don't know why people think, and again, maybe it's because people, again, are not fans of basketball, so maybe they've never seen it. Maybe all they seen was this BS brand of basketball, and they think like, they can't do nothing else, so they hurt each other. No. It's been plenty of competitive All-Star games where the players know, I could normally get this block, but I'm not going to go for it because I don't want to hurt that player or myself. I could probably stop this layup, but I'm not going to stop it because I don't want to hurt anybody. So there's ways to be competitive and say, all right, I'm going to pump the brakes here so nobody gets hurt. And that's what we need to do for the All-Star game going forward. It's that simple. It's not money because we've seen it already. All the stuff we've seen. We've seen them say, let's add in a prize. Let's add in a charity. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I'm going to be honest with you. It is another one. I don't know if this works in a women's game. But I know definitely it works in the men's game. I hear type. I think you type in MSL. Mute your mic.
Sorry. I thought I had.
Now you good. Sorry. You can hear. Now you good, Brody. We can hear in the background. I don't know if this will work in a women's game. You guys could correct me if it does or it doesn't. You still hear you MSL typing. That's why I said just mute up. But in the men's game, this is a big deal, or not a big deal. I shouldn't say, but I think this brings a competition out. Let me say that's a better way to say it. In the men's game, when you have the American players versus the European players, nobody want to lose that game because it's pride there, right? We still in America feel like, right, as we should, we still feel like we got the best players in the world. Europeans is catching up though. Europeans got some really damn good players. So in the men's game, USA versus the world, it could spark some competition. We seen them try that last year, and it still wasn't good enough. It was better. We still seen some competition, but the men's game still got to get better. It wasn't good enough. I don't know if that's a thing in the women's game. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. The world, American players versus European players. I'm not talking about just white, right? American players versus European players. Y'all could tell me if that's a thing. I don't know if that's if that incite
competition in a women's game, but they need to figure out what it is that make people say, nah, if I lose this game, I'll be embarrassed to lose this game. I want to go out and try to win this game.
Well,
right?
they have that with the other competition. Well, you know, what's the name of the other competition when we play the overseas teams? What is it called again?
The qualifiers, or you talking about the actual Olympics? I don't know what you're talking about.
I forgot the other name for it, but yeah, the qualifiers.
Yeah.
You know, now here go me starting trouble again, bro. You know, again, this is my views and it's not Brooklyn's views.
Or the views of the perspective, you mean?
Yeah, here you go.
They don't represent the perspective.
Like that, actually making fun. Maybe they should do black versus white and gay versus straight.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think the gay versus straight one might have some merit. The black versus white one I don't really care for. The gay versus straight one might have some merit in the WNBA, right? Because who got the best players? Like, that's a conversation.
Yeah,
who got the best? Now, the only way you could do that, I don't know if you can actually do that because of the gray area. The only way you can do that is everybody comfortable and confident in the conversation, right? If it's because as you know, like the conversations we had in here, some conversations spark up, people getting their feelings emotional. So I don't want that to be an emotional thing. If everybody's mature enough to do that and say, yeah, let's do that, gay versus straight, let's do it, that it probably would be something that brings some because think about it. You think the gay girls gonna want to get beat by, because a lot of gay girls is what? They more masculine, right?
Yeah.
So you think they're gonna want to get beat by girly girls, and then vice versa? Like, the girly girls is like, yo, we could play too. Like, just because I'm not as strong or as masculine, I'm just as good as you. Look, that's kind of if you look at the rookie season when the Fever played the Chicago, that's kind of what Angel and Alyssa was going through, right? Because they both was post players and they both tough in the post, but Angel was like, yeah, I might be a girly girl, I might be dogged up off the court and all that, but I'm a beast on this court. What's up? I'm a dog. Like, you know what I mean? She bringing that energy. And Alyssa Smith is like, nah, I'm the dog. That you get what I'm saying? So it'll be that type of energy, but that's a great idea. That's actually a really good concept. The question is, are they able to maturely do that? If they able to maturely put that together, I'll be with that idea. That's a great idea.
That's a nightmare. That would be a human resources nightmare.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It either can't be done or it can't be done. Because even to your point about the human resources thing, it might not even be a human resource thing. What if everybody in the WNBA can agree, like, yo, this is what we want to do? But guess what that's going to do because we know the climate the world is in, right? So now everybody's going to feel a way or have an opinion or whatever, right? We don't want any hate on either side is what I'm saying.
You would have to do it and not announce it, and people would just have to notice it.
And then another thing I think why it won't work is because I think if it's us, like the people who love the WNBA, people who love basketball, we'll be able to be like, all right, bet, let's do it. This will be fun. I think once that other party, and you know what I'm talking about, get involved, they're going to make it nasty because it's going to turn into some Christian versus non, you know what I mean? It's going to turn into something else where it's not supposed to be. But right? It's going to turn into a different conversation.
Also, we might be, stepping too far ahead, because is it actually really 10 straight women in the WNBA?
I think so. I think what happens is because the majority isn't, I think they almost like, bullying is the wrong word, but they almost don't highlight the one. Because I'll be surprised. It'd be wild girl. Like Tahina Powell got a boyfriend. Like, it's wild girls. Like if you look through the W, they got boyfriends or they got husbands. And it's like nobody talks about, like Maya Cowell was just at the red carpet with her husband. Nobody talks about, you would assume that, you know what I mean? Because there's so many girls talking to girls, you would just assume like, oh, they probably, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of girls.
Sarcastic. I didn't mean that.
No, I know you was being sarcastic, but I'm making it serious, right? Like, you got Nafisa Kalia, got a husband. So my point is, if they really was to put it together, it's enough on both sides. Right, it's enough on both sides where you can have a really good team of gays, you can have a really good team of straights, and they could be like, "Yo, let's get it." But
Again, that's probably something that won't happen because, like you said, the HR portion of it. But it's something interesting. That might be something to make them be because again, you got to find a way that both teams will say, I don't want to lose to that team, and it got to be a reason. It ain't got to be. Right. It got to be something simple. Was like, nah, let's ball. And like that's why I said something as simple as 2 point guards that push the tempo and make you do that, right? If your point guard running. If you playing with Olivia Miles, if anybody know basketball, I don't know how many actually play basketball, but if you play with a point guard like Olivia Miles, you want to run the floor. Like this is gonna motivate. You're gonna be like, oh shit, she gonna give me the ball. You running the floor, and then that's the game that outside of Caitlin shooting is the game that CC be trying to have anyway. So why not pit them both against each other? Let them both do that for their respective team, pushing the floor, running the tempo up, and everybody just running, having a good time. Now, people like Asia, people like Dominique Malanga, people like Angel, you know what I mean? People like Jessica, all those people are getting the ball now because if they running the floor, Olivia's finding you. Caitlin is finding you, right? You getting the ball, you running up the court, she's finding you. So now it's a better all-star game. It's more inclusive than just watching people run up and down and jack up threes. So that's my opinion on how I think they should fix the WNBA. You gave your opinion, Hot Trash. You could elaborate more if you got more opinions. What's your opinion on how they could fix the All-Star game, MSL?
Hey, let me clear myself one more time too with something. I understand that all gay women of that community are not all masculine also. I know some of them are, feminine and some of them masculine. And, that was it. I don't want to.
But I want to respond to that too, because I hate when people do that. And I like Tia. So I know she's not coming from a negative place. She coming from a positive place with that. But we not talking about all. We just saying like that some of them are, right? Like, so if you have like, for example, somebody like Angel, right? Who's not, she doesn't put muscle on. You know what I mean? She wants to have a feminine body. She doesn't put muscle on. So if she's going up against somebody that doesn't mind that, it's a disadvantage. That's in sports in general. So nobody is saying in the world for everybody that's that's lesbian or whatever the case may be, or bisexual. Nobody is saying that there's no feminine ones or there's no, everybody is super strong. Nobody's talking about all. We just talk about in the basketball context, advantages and disadvantages. And if you're a girly girl, and you don't really bulk up, it's a disadvantage for you on the basketball court. That's the same thing with men. That's what they say about Wnba, right? If you take it off of, gay or straight, right? They say Wnba right now needs to put on muscle. And the reason why is because he's at a disadvantage at his position. It's a basketball term. So just don't take it negatively. Nobody is speaking negatively about gay women and nothing, saying that they got to be masculine. Not what we talking about. We talking about basketball and advantages and disadvantages on a basketball court.
Yo, Brooklyn, I do have one question though. One question about the WNBA.
What's up?
Now this is just a curiosity that I have. Do they drug test them? Because I'm uneducated in that community, so.
I wouldn't know, but somebody I'm about to introduce probably would know. My fault, Mo3. I didn't even see you in the background. Everybody welcome my brother Mo3 to the panel.
And the reason why I asked that is because, sometimes some of them take hormones or steroids to make their voice deeper or, for different reasons. And I just wanted to,
Yeah, I don't. Again, like you said about the relationship thing earlier. That's none of my. I don't know. I don't know, and that's something I'm not even going to touch on. It ain't about getting me banned. I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to know that now. To be honest with you, that's something I wouldn't even talk about. But maybe MSL or Mo3 knows. You gotta ask them the question. But I have no idea. That's not even something I would like research or care about.
Because again, to your point about dating, that's really none of like that's how I feel about that. That's none of my business. Like that's a
Well,
whole
see,
nother
the reason
community.
why I was asking that is because steroids will give you a competitive edge, wouldn't they?
Yeah, no, I understood the question, but that's not something I stay away from, to be honest with
Okay.
you. But yeah, again, maybe MSL or Mo3 knows the answer to your question though.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they officially drug test, but from what I've heard, it doesn't sound like they do. But that I don't know. In regards to the women, well, that's an interesting conversation because some women, especially what we would call more masculine women, they would have a higher level of testosterone, but it still would test within the framework of a woman. There are very few what we call hermaphrodites, if I'm saying it correctly, or unisex. I think that's the proper word now, like Caster Samaya, the 800-meter runner who was so good that, but then they kind of classified her as a man because she was really in the middle. And so they took her out of the 800 and now she's running another sport. To be fair, and to Hot Track's question, I don't think that qualifies for the overwhelming majority of women in the WNBA. They all look like women to me. And not to pick on people, so I'm not going to say their names. Now there would be a few players that you would go, I wonder about them. But to me, they're still women. They're just what we would call studs or aggressive looking or whatever. But I don't see anyone in the league that looks or sounds or plays like plays like a man, or who would be classified as a man. If to the Hot Tracks question, I'm sure if there was a problem, it would be brought up, and then you would at least hear about it. If it's not addressed, you would at least hear about it. And I don't really see that issue here, like with a Caster Samaya, or worse, like the dude in the NCAA league, forgot his last name, maybe Thomas, I don't remember. The dude was a straight up man, but he just said, oh, I want to be a woman today, and don't hurt my feelings. I want to be a woman. And I think the government was experimenting with some of this stuff, at least with that particular team. And then he came in and just dominated, but he was like a mid-level swimmer, with the males. I think the women are smart enough, despite whatever rhetoric they're talking, to not allow males into the sport, just like I don't think they would allow drug usage in the sport to enhance them in that particular way. So from my vantage point, the little that I see, Mo may have a different opinion. I don't really see that as an issue at this point.
Okay.
All right. We can get back.
Well,
yeah, Mo.
Most sports ban steroids, but the WNBA doesn't have a ban on testosterone. They just have a certain they test for it, but the reason they test is they want you to they only allow a certain limit. So they set by a certain limit, and if you pass the limit, I guess they do whatever disciplinary action they need to do. But they allow people, they allow them to take testosterone up to a certain level though.
Okay. Well, I apologize for taking the chat somewhere totally different. I just was
Now you
curious.
good,
It's all right,
bro.
Hot Tracks.
You good, bro. Let's get back to our thoughts on the topic though. MSL, Mo3, whichever one of you guys want to go first, up to you guys. What's y'all thoughts? I don't know if y'all heard everything me and Hot Factor said about what we think could make the All-Star game actually enjoyable for the fans. What was you guys' opinions on what can help the All-Star game actually be better?
Go ahead, Mo.
I don't know. It would have to be something that's similar to what took place in 2024. There was a reason. The reason why the game was so competitive was because it was Olympic team versus the ones that felt like they got snubbed. So the ones that felt like they got snubbed wanted to prove that, hey, we're better than you, and the ones that on the Olympic team wanted to prove we deserve to be on this instead of you. So it has to be something similar to that. And I don't see.
Did you hear everything me and Hot Track said or no?
Yeah, I heard you
All
was
right,
talking
cool.
about the your idea sounds good, but in practice it's like because then again, there's a lot of people in the WNBA that's in the closet. Like who's willing to say,
That
you know what
wasn't
I'm
my
saying? That
idea.
could
That
cause
was
a
Hot
lot of
Trap's idea.
yeah, they could cause a lot of problems because if they are and the people in the league know, but it's not public knowledge, and then they say they not, then that's gonna cause problems for them. And then you know what I'm saying? Like who's comfort? Some people are not comfortable coming out. They rather just keep it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, reach your mic, MSL.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I disagree slightly. Only because that if the girls, because you're talking about it right now from a standpoint as if like the outsiders, if the media decide this, but if the women in the WNBA decide this is something they want to do, they will obviously sign off on it, right? Like it wouldn't be something where you're gonna get outed if you don't want to get outed. So if you are
Yeah.
all star and the all stars get together, right? Because if this happens, it'll be because of them. It won't be because of us. Right, and because they talked, because in fact, this conversation ain't even start with us. This conversation start with a joke between Aaliyah Boston and I forget her name, the point guard that was on Indiana. Anyway, the conversation started between them, and they started talking about it just casually joking around. So it started with WNBA players anyway. So if the WNBA players that's all star decide, like, you know what, that's a good idea, let's do this. They would all sign off on, yeah, I want to do this, but then they would have to make sure that the right amount of gays and straights is in the game, so it's even, right? Because we already know that could be an issue. But they would have to make sure that that's taken care of, and they will already know that is going to be public, right? This is going to be, so they would already know that. So that particular point I disagree with, but we all agree that it can be controversial in general, especially once it get out to the public. Because I think a bigger issue won't be how the how the WNBA, how they do it in-house. I think the bigger issue would be once it get out, public, Twitter, and how people talk, and like, so I think people would just make it nasty, especially like I said, my biggest issue, Mo3, to your point of it being a problem, is that particular crowd that comes
The
in and
league
want to
wouldn't
make
go for it
want to
anyway.
the people that's gonna come in that's gonna condemn people and say, "Oh, you're going to have like that crowd." I think once they come into it, is gonna make it nasty. That's when you can't do it. But outside of that, as far as like them in house, I don't think it'll be an issue because they'll be the ones who talk about it.
That was what I was saying. I don't think they would want to do it because they're gonna be like, oh nah, I'm not ready to out. You know what I'm saying? And they would probably like, nah, we don't want to do
And the
that.
league wouldn't go for that anyway
But
because
but let me be
of the
clear because he
No,
respect
I'm
said
just
that
factor.
was.
saying if it
Hold
was
on, let
up
me
to the players, I don't think the players would want to do it because there's
hold
a
on, let
lot
me
of players.
Let me be real clear though, because Mo3, he said it was my idea. That was Hot Track's idea. Remember, the perspective of Hot Tracks
All right,
is Hot
all
Tracks.
right.
The perspective of 80s and Brooklyn 80s is, hey, we just talked about it, but that was Hot Tracks. So
Brooklyn,
let's be
like, it
clear.
ain't me, y'all. When y'all
Right
start
now,
protesting,
because Mo came up here like, nah, 80s to your point. I had to make sure.
So, hey, I got another one. How about bringing in some, like, I guess the best high school players around the country and maybe pick 10 of them out and bring them in to play against the All-Star team or something, or
I
bring them
don't
in
think
to
that's a
play
good
against,
idea.
or bring them in to play against the college, some college. I don't know, something.
Okay, you saying okay, that might be a good idea. You saying add them a part of All Star Weekend because I was just thinking about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
game.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I thought you were saying, yo, go get some high schoolers and make them play against the All Stars in the WNBA. I'd have been like, nah, I think that'd be
Or you
bad.
could,
I don't think
or
that'd be good.
you could pay, yeah, because they might get showed up.
Yeah, not even showed up. You going against grown ass women? What the fuck you think?
Or you can say pick like a bunch of people who like bench people in the WNBA and people I guess who slept on or whatever who's not an all-star and get up a 10, have tryouts before the all-star game and all that and let them play against the all-star team.
But but then you'd have to cut some of the all stars to make room for them.
Well, I guess this will be like a totally different a different event. Like the All-Star game will still happen or whatever, but you know, you
Yeah,
could
and then the All Star
it could
game
be
is
like
supposed to
another.
be.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. You're right about that.
I wouldn't. So yeah, Hot Tracks actually advanced the conversation. I'm not mad at that. I think you making a good point because I don't know who I talked about this with, or but somebody said it might have been on one of my shows. It might have been yesterday, but I do agree that for the other events, it should be another like so. This topic was about the All Star game and what can we do to make the All Star game better. But if we talking about All Star weekend, we should. I think one thing I do like an idea, and they do this in the NBA, so they could do it in the WNBA. I do like an idea of a sophomore rookie game, right? Then on a Friday night, right? So I do like the idea of that because another critique that we all had, Hot Tracks, is
Or a
we
rookie game
actually like
period.
we actually like the All-Star Friday night. It was just short. It just felt like it was on and it was off. So
Yeah,
it was
they
like
needed
that
they needed one or
All-Star,
two more events.
right? That's what I'm saying. All-Star Friday night was actually interesting. It was over. So it was like, I didn't really care for the first event. It was cool. The I forget what you call that event, but it was like three people shooting the teams or whatever. That was cool. The 3-point contest to me lived up to the hype. It was entertaining, but it was just not enough. It was like, okay, that's it. So to your point, MSL and Hot Tracks and everybody else who said it, I think I like your idea where you go in Hot Tracks of setting up a game. I think more towards what you're saying to be it better if we do a rookie sophomore game or something like that, and then maybe even in the NBA they do this too. They do it and they don't do it right. Really, to me, they do it on another night and it's like kind of nobody cares, but they do a celebrity game and they do a celebrity game for the the NBA All Star. Maybe they can add that in the All Star Friday. Maybe that's one of the events. You add in the rookie sophomore. You add in the celebrity. You add in all that with the 3-point contest, right? Like just to give us more. So I do agree with you. They need to bulk up that All Star Friday. So that's a great point.
That was a good suggestion. Either a rookie or rookie versus second year player, like whatever rookies and second year players that don't make the All-Star game that we feel are like really on the rise or good. Yeah, they can do that. If they don't feel they have enough of those players and they need to come up with
Because
something else.
to your point, MSL, we would have loved to see Flau'jae play on Friday night, right? I love to see Flau'jae and our fam,
Yeah.
and like you said, everybody who didn't make it. Even she won the 3-point contest, but even what's her name, AZ Fudd, right? I would have loved to see all of them, and all of the people who makes the All Star game, they don't have to play. So like even Paige is a second year player, she don't play in that game, right? Olivia is a first year player, she don't play in that game. She's in the All Star game, but like you said, the people who missed it, that's still really good talent because I think the one thing the WNBA drops, not the one ball, they drop many balls, pause, right? But the one of the biggest things that the WNBA is doing wrong is highlighting the other talent. The reason why I like this league even though Angel Reese is my favorite, the reason why I like this league ain't just because of Angel Reese, right? I like Olivia Miles. I like Paige Beckers. I like one of my favorites. It don't even got to be those names. One of my favorites is my girl. What's my girl name in Dallas? I forget her name right now. She came from NC State. One of my favorite players.
Oh, Isaiah James.
I love Isaiah James. I would love to see Isaiah James on the front. You get what I'm saying? Like it's different people. I don't know how many years Isaiah Cook. I think she's been in the league for some while, but she's still kind of a young player for me. Right? Let me see some. To your point, MSL. To your point, Hot Tracks. Let me see some of the people who I don't. You know what I mean? Who don't really get to shine, but that's still nice. Highlight them on All Star because it might be new eyes that see them and be like, "Oh, she nice. Who's that?" You get what I'm saying? So that's a great point.
Right. Well, I think one of the potential issues, but obviously it can still be done if they really want it done, with a rookie versus sophomore game due to the amount of teams in the WNBA and how little people they put on, even though it can probably work because the next 2 drafts, including this one, should give them, a good pool to choose from. It's just having enough players to fill out a 22-player roster on both teams. However, depending on how they do it, the game could be shorter, for example, and you can have, just 5 players on each team and just make the game, not as long. I'm sure there's a way that they can work it out, but that would definitely be a good thing. They can come up with they didn't have the skills challenge this year, right? If correct me if I'm wrong. You remember the one that Leash won?
Nah, they replaced it with the other event.
Yeah, with that young old whatever game. That young old whatever game can work on any day. So it's probably one of those things where you can have that in the middle and have the other two. But and tell me if I'm wrong, and I want y'all opinion on this. It just seemed to me that the league was being cheap. They kind of threw the Chicago thing together, and they wasn't gonna go all out, by having, by having 3 or 4 events, on All-Star night, because they didn't even promote the All-Star game. Now maybe they knew it was going to fill up for whatever reason, so they didn't feel they had to. But to me and to other people, it's not like they put a lot of work or thought into the All-Star game.
Tia, that's a great point. We did say this not tonight. I said this on another night. I think yesterday or the night before. But yeah, the 1v1 and Unrivaled, that's a good event. They need to whatever's good events. And I think to your point that you just made, MSL, I think the problem is they don't have creative people thinking about these things. They need somebody to say, let's try this, let's try that. If it don't work, it don't work. Let's try this. So this is something that they need to do to add in these different events just to see like, hey, maybe this works, maybe that works, to add interest. And I think the 1v1 might be something that they could do in a W. Maybe they don't want to look like they take it from a rival, but hey, sometimes you got to see somebody else do a good idea for you to say, well, maybe we should try that too.
Right.
They have enough players to do that, to do the rookie sophomore thing. I don't see like.
Yeah, they definitely got enough.
Because every team has at least one rookie and one sophomore.
Yeah.
There's 15. There's 15 teams.
And then to your point, Mo3, you gotta be able to count the European players too, right? That definitely give you enough with rookie, sophomore.
Yeah, and you only need 12 players per team.
Yeah.
So that's more than enough players. I'm surprised they haven't done that yet.
Yes, they just dropping the ball. That's what I'm saying. It's like, how you haven't done this yet?
But to what you were saying, I think I kind of feel like that's what they did. They was just like, this Chicago is a wash. Let's just go through the motions and see what works and what didn't work, and then build from there.
Yeah, once Angel left, it's almost like they ain't care no more. It's like, oh, it didn't work. It didn't keep her. It didn't keep her in Chicago. So whatever. We'll just throw it. We'll just throw it together. You got to remember, it was almost like an afterthought. It's just like one day they said, okay, Chicago, and everybody was like, oh, okay. And the Obama Center, I guess, is what replaced the still not completed practice center for the for the team. And
then also they had to rent out the Bulls arena. So
yeah,
they were like, man, we already spent enough money on this garbage already.
Yeah, and if you no disrespect, Brooklyn, but because you made
he about to disrespect me.
No, not at all. No, not at all. No, this is about the players. No, this is about the players, not about you. But I saw a Pagel video with Angel and Paige, and this was on Friday morning. So Lord knows what was going on Thursday night. So you could only imagine Friday night. But them two, especially Paige and Marina, they look wasted, man. They look like Paige, eyes are rolling in her head, and she just looked like, oh man, and Marina looked like, oh man. And so they must have been having a good time. So if they did that on Thursday night, because I think Angel said it was Friday, and they was like parties every night, then if everybody's getting like, that game ain't gonna be too much to write home about if they partying like that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Got you. Didn't even want to play yesterday. Like she was just there.
So the disrespect, when I said no disrespect, is that the players didn't seem to take it that seriously.
But
and you know what?
Now go ahead. Go ahead.
Real quick. You know what? We don't know the insider stuff. Of course, we can find it if we want. If we went around, Twitter and all these other things where people talk. But it's almost like the players was like, if y'all don't want to take it seriously, then we're not gonna take it. Seriously. So like what Angel was doing. Angel, she was throwing parties and doing promotional events. Every day she was doing promotional events of the day, and she was going to parties that she was involved with, at night. So I don't know. But to answer your question, obviously it has to come from the coaches. It has to come from the so-called general managers. When I say, I mean the ones they pick for the all-star teams, and they're going to have to talk about pride. I don't think prize money is going to work when the league is too cheap, but it kind of looks bad that you're saying I got to pay you in order for you to play hard. So, that may not work. But to your argument, Brooklyn, I do agree that they can play at a faster pace, maybe 65%, and it looks good aesthetically, it looks good, because what we saw last night was like them playing at 35-50%, and it looked awful. Players are coming down the lane at like 40% speed. We saw on several occasions with Team Coop, they had layups and they gave up the layups to throw open 3-pointers. Like, you would never see that in a game when you have an open layup and then you go, oops, let me turn around and throw out for a 3-pointer. So it wasn't real basketball, to your argument, Brooklyn. It was like a gimmick. Caitlin Clark, as soon as she crossed half court, she's chucking up shots. Like that, I didn't understand, because I wanted to see the ball pass to someone so they can go in the lane or they could make a move and take a shot. But we didn't get all that. There was no crossovers and multi move, shots. It was just like a chuck fest.
And then to your point,
because go ahead.
No, go ahead, Brody.
Caitlin was doing that because she wanted to win MVP. They let the mic slip because Paige asked her. Paige was like, damn, what you doing? You trying to win MVP? She said, yeah. Paige was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, she did ask her that. And they was on the court.
Paige got her to say that?
Yeah, they was on the court. Yeah. And they was in the corner. They was by the corner three. Yeah. And Paige asked her that.
That was like the third time in a row she just came down court, didn't pass the ball to nobody, and just jacked it up. Paige was like, what's going on? You trying to win MVP?
Simo, I'm glad you said that, because all these people in the comments that try to act like she's innocent and she's like, ooh, like the little girl who stuck her thumb in the dike, right? Like, once again, you're trying to win MVP, and more than likely someone said to her, let's be real, let's stop playing games. Someone said to her, if you go out and do this, you're gonna get the MVP. The problem is she's such a poor shooter, she shot herself out of the MVP because she shot 6 for 17 period and 5 for 15 from 3-Pointville, and Jonquel Jones, I think, shot 8 for 13 with 22 points, 8 assists, and 13 rebounds. Even though the game itself was complete trash. Both Jonquel and Olivia Miles and even Leash, had something for the MVP, because what she was doing was just awful to me. But there we go again. You're trying to win the MVP. She's selfish. She's selfish. There's no other way to say it. She's selfish. And this is why you can't win a championship with her, because the more she has the ball in her hand and the more she shoots, the higher chance you have of losing and not winning a championship, because she's streaky, she's inefficient, she doesn't hold on to the ball well, she can't read a half court offense, and her defense is shockingly bad. So and there you go right there. A point guard should not have that mentality, but for whatever reason, sometimes she gets so excited and so into herself, or so into whatever the advertisers told her, the corporate people told her. A lot of people believe it's the fans, who knows? And she's just going up there chucking up shots. There was one point, and I'm sure y'all said it too, you're like, don't you have teammates? And so that's why Paige said that, right? Because it's like, don't you have teammates? Because even if It's an all-star game. Okay, you take some shots, and a couple of times you throw it to your teammates. You know, you just don't go up 3 times in a row and take 35 footers. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
there's a reason why this girl hasn't won anything her entire career.
But look at it though. She's such a good passer, right? And you on a team of all-stars and you only have 5 assists. When you got Olivia Miles with 8 assists.
And Angel had 4 assists playing 9 minutes.
5.
Well, I think Boston played 5. Angel played 9.
No. Oh yeah. She played 9. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, look at Olivia had more of a reason to shoot than Clark did because she was 100%. She was 100% from 3, 100% field goal overall. But yet still, she was still dishing it because that's how you could tell who's a natural point. She's just a natural point guard. Clark is not a natural point guard. She's a tool guard that could pass really good.
But it's that 2-guard mentality that will shoot teams out of games. And since you brought that up, Mo, let me just throw this out there because we hear this all the time from the Clarkies, right? They'll say, like, when it comes to Kelsey Mitchell, even though we know she is one of the very, very few true weapons in the game, right? Like one of the very few, she is like literally a dangerous weapon. So what the Clarkies will say sometimes is they'll say, oh, Kelsey Mitchell, she's just a scorer. And then other people will come and say, well, that's her role on the team. You can't hold that against her. But I think the part that most people miss out, and I think y'all would all agree with me on the panel, is with a Kelsey Mitchell and with an Aaliyah Boston, you don't need a chucking point guard. It's been proven on this Indiana team that literally any competent point guard that you insert in that lineup, the team plays better than when it does with Clark, because they don't need a point guard to take 18 shots a game and take 18 free throws. They just need a point guard that's competent who can run the offense, make the pass or make the baseball pass when it's present, and most importantly, play defense. So it's not about comparing Kelsey Mitchell to Caitlin Clark. It's about what do your team needs and what it does, and how does Kelsey Mitchell fit into that? Do you guys agree?
Yeah, to most of it, yeah. But the only part I disagree with is the part about you could be a scoring point guard and still achieve the goal that you want, because
Like
it's the
Isaiah?
point is it's just, yes, like Isaiah. It's just you can't come down court. You can't be the first option just taking all the shots. I mean, in crunch time, you could be the first option. Okay, all right, you the closer. If you the closer,
If you have the
then you can be the
advantage.
first option. Yeah, if you have the advantage. But throughout the game, you can't just come down court and just jack and no one touch the ball and then you just shoot or dribble around for 20 seconds and then chuck up some shot. Like you can't do that. Like if I would have no problem with her taking all the majority of the shots if she would pass the ball around and somehow the ball came back to her.
Excuse me, sorry.
You know what I'm saying? And then she gets a good shot and she takes it. But just coming down court and just jacking up shots all the time, like no one touches the ball. A point guard shouldn't be doing that.
I agree. And part of being a point guard is to know when to shoot, when to pass, when to slow it down, when to speed it up. And those nuances she doesn't have, and it's going to cost Indiana gains in the playoffs if she's the lead point guard and plays significant minutes, because it's easy in the regular season, particularly against bad teams. But in playoff games, when you got to be able to read the defense and make proper decisions, particularly in the half court, she's yet to show that she's any good at that. And those are the things many of her quote unquote Glazers overlook.
So Brooklyn, you ain't got no more topics? Because I don't want this to turn into another Caitlin Clark bash fest.
No, I do, but like I was saying, you probably didn't hear me earlier when MSL had got on me. It was just me and MSL at that point, and I was telling him. So what I try not to do is ruin the chemistry. So like, let's just say if we happen to stumble on a topic that's, you know, entertaining and people, then I kind of just don't like. That's why, listen, first of all, you already know, Mo3, you and are my favorite people, commentators doing this, and you quiet a lot. So to have you go back and forth, I was like, I ain't about to interrupt. You know what I mean? And you know, MSL's really good at what he was doing. So y'all was cooking just now, just ping ponging. Y'all was passing the mic, y'all was cooking. So I ain't had no reason to change the subject or to say anything. But I'm happy you did give me the floor, because what I did want to do was say this. I need everybody to hit that like button. You've been sitting there and you've been being lazy. You feel me? You forgot to hit the like button. Hit the like button. I caught you. You understand what I'm saying? You sitting there, you enjoying the content, and you forgot to hit the like button. You see it, you looking at it, it's not lit up. You see the outline of the finger. Hit the like button, make sure it's all white, like Caitlin Clark. You heard? Make sure that like button look just like Caitlin Clark, all white. And I need everybody to subscribe to the channel. Y'all could laugh, man. I'm funny. Like, why y'all sitting over there, man? Serious. I do not like how y'all giving it up today on the panel. When I say funny shit, y'all laugh, B. The fuck? Y'all sitting over there mad, stiff, and dry. Have a drink. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel, right? Hype me up. Hit the hype button. If you watching this on the playback, you already know. You holler at me, I'm going to holler back. It's your boy, 80s, man. You enjoying the content. So stop hating. Stop being a hater. Especially all you CC fans, because I know y'all watching me. Y'all hate watching like, damn, this shit is good, but we got to act like we don't like it. Nigga, hit the subscribe button and shut up. Yeah, y'all got the floor.
Well,
remember what we was talking about before we got.
I do got another topic though. I'm bouncing around. This next topic is near and dear to my heart. I think it's gonna be near and dear to all y'all hearts, and I'm happy for everybody who stuck around to see this topic, because this is probably the most important topic of the show. And you kind of actually touched on it earlier, MSL. You start pulling, whoa, you ain't touched on nothing. I'm rattling. My apologies, pause that. But you actually started talking about it earlier, MSL. And I didn't want to, I was actually going to let you know, but I said, nah, we'll just wait. And it's when you started to bring up coaches in the college ranks, and you was talking about the money for the coaches. Well, it's not exactly what you was talking about, but it's similar. And the topic is this right here. Let me get a switch of my graphic. Where is that? Right here. Bam! I know there's a lot of talk in the WNBA about the lack of black women coaches, right? So especially with us talking about earlier, about coaches who maybe need to be fired or not doing a good job. I want to know, and take your time to think about this. I actually researched it. So I looked up some names. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I don't even remember everybody's name, but I looked up some names of women, because the most important thing about this topic is people who deserve the job, right? That's why I said winning resumes. So what I want to know from you guys' opinion, obviously you can exclude people who we know that's probably not gonna leave because they got a cushy situation, like Dawn. Dawn is probably never gonna leave South Carolina because she's happy there. She got a great job, which she deserves. But if she does decide to leave, we know she got the Nick opportunity a year or so ago. If she do decide to leave, because to your point, MSL, the money is right, maybe, you know, you could throw her name in there as well, but she's obvious. Everybody know Dawn Scully is the GOAT. But this segment is to highlight some other women as you feel like, some other black women in the college ranks, or maybe not even in the college ranks, maybe they in the broadcasting ranks, right? Some other black women who you feel like, oh, she talks the game, or she coaches the game. She's really good. Her team, maybe they haven't won a natty, but her team normally wins. Like she has a winning pedigree, or when she's on ESPN or she's on these networks and she talks the game, I like the way she talks the game. She actually knows what she's talking about. I would love for, like, I'm gonna give y'all a name. I don't know if there's gonna be anybody named. Somebody like what's her name in Chicago? Shimmy Miller or something like that. She's, you know, somebody who's a black woman and I think she used to be a coach too. But these are different people.
College coach.
When you listen to them talk, you can say, "Oh, she knows what I like when she talks the game." So that's just some ideas for me to throw out y'all, some names that y'all could come up with. Y'all could take your time with the names. You don't gotta rush it, but just a group of, it don't have to be a top one, top two, top whatever y'all want to do, top five. It don't have to be a top nothing. It could just be some women you guys want to highlight and say that, yo, if she had this job in the WNBA, she'd kill it.
right? Is a lot. Like for instance, we'll throw a coach out there. I'm on the record for saying I think the coach of Connecticut need to be fired. I don't. That's not my guy. You get what I'm saying? Everybody talk about Carl. I don't like the coach of Connecticut. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
So we can look at
he's gonna get fired, so you don't have to worry about that.
right. But my point is that's just examples of people that's not doing a good job in the W. Who a black woman coach maybe could do a better job, and based off of what she's done, her resume, either by winning in college, like she has a winning resume, or by y'all thoughts on her basketball knowledge from which I heard of her broad, like how she talks the game.
Well,
So what's your thoughts on that?
I hate to make this so simple, but a lot of people believe that Teaspoon will get that Houston job. And if she does, then I think it would be apropos and great. I mean, not to be mean, but Tyler Marsh got a second season. Sonia Rahman over at Seattle, I'm assuming she's going to get a second season, and she may not even win 10 games. I think she has 6. I think she has 6 now. The Connecticut coach, and if I'm wrong, tell me if I'm wrong. This is his second year or first year?
Connecticut is his second year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, second year. So he got 2 years. Teaspoon never got 2 years. We know why, because of the whole Vandersloot Jeff P thing, but she never got 2 years. She's obviously a leader. She obviously inspires women. We saw what happened with Unrivaled. I mean, the first year she got her team to the title game, and she may not have got them to the title game her second year. I don't remember exactly, but she's a motivator. She's a leader. Does she have to learn how to coach? Yes. But you can do that with a young team and grow with that team. So I hope she gets the job, and she'll go for whatever salary they're offering, because she's not going to obviously ask for $2 million or $3 million, because to my knowledge, except for her Unrivaled job, she's not even, hired on a staff right now. So she'll take the salary, and she'll take the money. And I think she would be a good choice for Houston. And I think it would be a great choice. And I think a lot of players would also play for her, because everybody loves Teaspoon. What do you guys think about that?
That's a great point. Before they talk about what they think about that, I just want to say, before Mo3 say anything, because I know he a sniper, I fixed it before you had to say something, my boy, because I know you was waiting. You was waiting for your moment. I fixed it already. Yeah.
That's for you, Mo.
Oh, it's for me? Oh.
Mo3 know what I'm talking about. He know what I'm talking about.
So that I don't know, but
he wanted to be like, because I made a mistake and I put the typo. It put Bay.
Yeah, I saw it, but
so I knew he was waiting. He wanted to be like, he always get me. Every time I do a typo, he wanted to be like Wnba. I got it. I already fixed it.
Oh, Mo, you're the type. Oh, Mo, you're that guy who does that?
No, I thought he did it on purpose. I didn't know it was a typo. I was like, maybe he was trying to do something tongue in cheek.
Nah, I fixed it. Get it, Mo.
Yeah, but if I was to pick one, I would really like to see Lisa Leslie get a shot at coaching.
That's a great one. Talk about it.
I really think, like, the way, what I'm saying, her knowledge.
Yeah, both had good ones, by the way.
Yeah, I think her knowledge of the game is really, like, top notch. And I feel like, well, I don't know about, like, from guards, but at least from the forwards up to the center, she would be like a good person to help develop them. So that's why, like, if we're only picking one, or we picking a whole bunch?
No, you could pick one, or you could pick as many. Any name that you feel like need to be highlighted. There's no number. You could pick as many as you want.
All right. There's only 2.
Even if you just to say, hold on, not to cut you off, Mo. Even if, like, say Hot Tracks or anybody who didn't go yet, even if you want time to, like, say, let me go look, you could pull up your computer. This is not about me. This is not about my channel right now. This is about highlighting these women, right? So even if you got to pull up your phone, because there's certain names I don't know.
that I'm gonna mention when I talk. I don't even know the name. I'm gonna ask y'all for help, but I want to highlight these women because it's important that somebody highlight them. So that to my point, Mo, whoever you want to highlight, and even if you need time to like research it, pull up your phone. Oh, I know this coach in this college, but I don't know her name. Get him, pull up her name. You get what I'm saying? This is about highlighting those women.
Yeah, but though, like I said, well, I only really had three, but MSL took Teaspoon, so now I'm down to two.
Now you
And it's
could talk about Teaspoon from
Gillespie,
an angle he didn't. Maybe he
and
left something out. You know what I mean? Talk about Teaspoon again.
he didn't really leave nothing. There's nothing else I can really say. Everything he said
You could just say, I
is
agree. I really love Teaspoon. Then, like, you know what I mean? You could throw her name out there
all
again.
right. I agree. I really love Teaspoon, but the coach of Notre Dame, I can't get her
Neo
name
Ivy.
out my
Neo Ivy.
yeah,
That's
Neo
one of
Ivy.
mine.
Neo
Yeah.
Ivy.
Unless she get fired, she not coming.
That's
She
what
not coming to the
that's why I said she's
WNBA.
not going to leave. It's hard for like good college coaches because you already know like they're getting paid so much they're not leaving. You know,
But
these
now y'all
coaches
can
are
still
coming in.
bring her up because even though she's not leaving, what you are saying, Mo3, is she still deserves it based off of her resume, correct?
Well,
Yes.
what I was going to say, Mo can probably talk about is, which he may have, which I didn't talk about, which I know he knows, is the way teaspoons develop players, and that would be great for a young, for a young team because she seems to be one of the best people who can develop players. What she did with Ray Burrell for one summer, and what she did with Angel, and then you have so many players that swear by her. Like to me, if you have a young team with like a 3 to 5 year plan, she's your coach.
Yeah, and that was the crazy thing. She actually had a 2-year contract with this guy. They just cut it short.
Because Vandersloot was coming and she knew that Teaspoon one wasn't going to play her, and she also wasn't going to put up with her shenanigans. And I had said that at the time, just so you know. But at that time, I wasn't on the air like I'm on now. Like I was just typing. I was just like a mad typer. And then after a while, I just got fed up of typing, and I said, well, let me just go talk. But then I didn't know how to sign on with StreamYard and all this other stuff. So then I stopped doing it. And then eventually I went on. But I was saying it like in the comment section then that Sloot was engineering this whole removal of the team based off of her relationship with Jeff P. And that's also why they didn't get any good point guards, and they had Uzan and all that other stuff because she didn't want anybody that could replace her. Ariel was someone she knew from Europe. That was her friend. That's why, and she told them, well, I'm not coming unless you give me a guard I want to play with. And that's why they traded the Citron. That's why they traded the Citron pick, because that's what she asked for. She obviously didn't want Kennedy there because Kennedy was going to take her shine, so she had to go. She knew Teaspoon wasn't going to put up with her shenanigans, especially anything against Angel. So she had to go. And yeah, and that was her. And the chick they drafted from Europe, I forgot her name. I wouldn't be surprised if she knew her from Europe
Isaac
because
Sipka.
right, because I had peeped that a lot of the decisions that were being made were
Or
being
Asia
made by
Sipka.
Sloot being made by Sloot and the people she played with in Europe. Like Uzan, she played with Atkins in Europe. So I just figured, so she was making these yeah. Rumor has it that he may have drafted HBO because Angel made that recommendation. So all that showed me was Jeff was an idiot and he just listened to people who he thought he knew. So if Angel said, yeah, I played with HVL drafted, he was like, okay. And if Sloot was like, I played with Atkins and I played with this person, he'd be like, okay. That just showed me he was an idiot. So both things could be true, as Brooklyn likes to say. But at the end of the day, she ruined the team. And then a year later, this year, now she comes out and declares, I am the true leader here. And basically copped the plea that, hey, I'm involved with all the decision making, which didn't surprise some of us at all.
What you got on the black women coaches topic, Hot Tracks?
You know what? I don't have nothing right now. I had stepped away for a minute.
It's all good. It's all good. So I got a few names. Um, the number one name I'm gonna say, and obviously, let's say Dawn Stelly, right? Even though we don't think she's leaving, even though what I mean, she's in a. We already know she's, she deserves any job she could get, and she'll be amazing. She'll kill it. And I just I want to say her name as an honorable mention, and highlight her. But the names I came up with, and maybe y'all absolutely right. I don't know how much Neil Ivy is being paid, but I think she's somebody who I think could kill it with a WNBA job. So Neil Ivy, um, Kara Lawson. I love what Kara Lawson doing in Duke. She's
I didn't know if she was black or not. That's why I
yeah,
didn't
she
say.
she makes. That'd be amazing. Amazing coach in the W. But I also love her at Duke. I'm not saying she need to leave. Listen, if these coaches, I'm just saying these coaches have the resume and the pedigree to be great coaches in the W. She's a great coach at Duke. I love her at Duke, but she definitely would be better than some of these coaches in the W. Another one is Coach Yo. Shout out to my girl, Coach Yo. What's it? Mississippi State, or is it Ole Miss? It's Ole Miss, right? Ole
I
Miss.
thought about Coach Yo.
Coach
I
Yo,
definitely thought
think
about her.
she's another one who I think do a better job than some of these people that's in the W. I don't know how much money she's making or how cushy her job is. Not saying I want her to leave Ole Miss. I love her at Ole Miss, but she's another one I want to highlight and just say that I think that if she was offered a job in the W, she'd do an amazing job at it. Another one, this is one I need your help for, and I got good people in my chat, so I know y'all gonna do the research. Or MSL, you on a computer, I know you're gonna pull it up, but it's my girl at Syracuse, the orange, the black lady. I don't know her name. I know what she looks like, and I think
Okay.
she's somebody else who could do a good job in a W. And then I just got familiar with this person recently, off of what she did in last year's tournament. I think she got fired by now, if I'm not mistaken. I think she lost her job after they lost. But it's the lady that was at Virginia. Y'all remember what Virginia did in the
Oh,
tournament
I remember
this
her too.
past year?
Yeah, she would be good also.
Yeah,
Her
she's
name is
another.
Felicia Leggett Jack.
That's the one in Syracuse, right, Felicia?
Yes.
Yes, yes. She seemed like a good coach. From what I've seen from her, I don't really know her resume. I looked up certain people's resume. Hers, I think they said she had a good resume. All these coaches, I looked up Kara Lawson. They said I had a good resume. They said Felicia has a good resume. So I looked these resumes up myself, and they said that these are, they have pretty good percentages. Some was 53%, some was 70 something percent. They have good resumes. The one in
If
Virginia,
they
I'm not
want
sure
better
what they
coaches, increase their salaries.
say that one more time. I didn't understand what you were saying. Say that again.
Sorry, I had to turn the microphone back on. If they want better coaches, increase their salaries.
Oh yeah. Now that's another point. That's actually hold that thought, because you actually made that point. We can actually talk about that after this, because that's actually a great point. But I just want to finish highlighting the people. So that coach of Virginia, can you look up her name too? Because I feel like she was a good coach from when I saw it too.
Sure.
So her, and am I forgetting somebody? I think that's it. I might be forgetting somebody. Kara Lawson, Neil Ivy, Coach Yo.
She must have got fired because there's a male coach there now.
Yeah, she got fired, but y'all know who I'm talking about. I think she did a really good job in Virginia.
Okay,
The one,
I'll just type in former.
yeah, Felicia and her. I'm gonna leave it at that. At those people, y'all already mentioned Teaspoon. We already know
Her
Teaspoon.
name is Amaka Agwagwa Hamilton. Amaka Hamilton.
Yeah. So those particular people I wanted to highlight. Somebody even mentioned Sydney Carter, I think, in the chat. So shout out. I think she's a good coach too. Sydney Carter. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight those women and talk about that. And
how about one of Dawn and Kim's assistants?
Sure. I don't know. You speak about, who they are. I don't know who they are, but definitely
Kim has some longtime assistants, and I think Dawn has some longtime assistants. I don't remember their names. Maybe people in the chat do. That if they're disciplined and timely and have a lot of ideas and so forth like that, those are the kind of people who you can hire that you wouldn't have to pay a lot of money, but if you strike gold, then you're doing you're doing well, and you're doing swell. You still got to pay them, because I think you can pay an assistant if they're really good, like $300,000 to $500,000 in women's college basketball. There may even be some that make $1 million. I don't know. Like if you have an experienced assistant that was a head coach and he's going to be the second in command, that person may or may not get $1 million. So, but someone who hasn't been a head coach yet and they have an opportunity, that may be the person, as long as they've learned, with someone like a Dawn Staley or a Gino or okay, I'll give one. Well, she's not black; it's a white woman, but just as a similar example, Shay over at Vanderbilt, right? She was under Gino. She worked her way up. Now she's at Vanderbilt. But the thing is, to get a black woman from the a Big Five team, they would either have to want the challenge of going to the WNBA, or have a situation they didn't like where they are, because they can always leave within college. And as long as you're good in college, as we all know, you can keep a job for 10 to 30 years, 10 to 40 years, depending on your age. But in the pro ranks, you got to be either really, really good or really, really on top of what you do to have longevity. Because in a couple of years, if you don't win, you're fired.
Right. I thought I wasn't limited to the top, to the Power Five or anything like that. But I do feel like a lot of these coaches, even the ones y'all mentioned, Lisa Leslie, you got some people, like I said, Shimmy Miller, you got a lot of people that's broadcasting that I think also deserves credit and deserves light. I don't remember everybody's name off the top of my head.
What about
Now,
Nola?
but
What about Nola from the Rose?
that wouldn't be on my list, but she could be on your list.
She's not on mine. I'm just throwing her out there because some people like her, but she wouldn't.
Okay, yeah, I don't have no disrespect for Nola. I wouldn't take away her opportunity. I'm just saying I wouldn't. That's not a name, but the name I would though is was it Peck something Peck? I'm talking about the older lady,
Carolyn Peck.
Carolyn Peck. Somebody like her be on my list. Like I said, people see. The reason why I'm saying this is not like charity, right? This is you have some type of either history or resume where people could say you deserve the job. I don't want it. This is not me saying like, yo, just find any black woman. So like if you young and you still got to put in your work, which I feel like, in my opinion, that's why I said, this was no shade to what's the young lady you just mentioned? Forget her name already. From the Rose.
Yeah. Nola Henry, right? That's her last name.
Yeah, Henry. It's no shade to Henry, but I feel like she's still growing and she's still getting to the point where you could be like, her resume, she deserves this spot. So it's not giving charity out. It's saying like, yo, this player, like for instance, somebody like Teaspoon, we respect her basketball knowledge. She's an ex-player. She's somebody who we feel like can help these kids, right? Somebody like Lisa. I don't know any coaching history from Lisa outside of the big three, but Lisa's somebody I would trust to say she knows the game on a level where I would trust her coaching. So that's somebody doing it without the resume. And then if you talk about people with the resume, if you start to look at the college ranks, the people I name, right? Ivy, Coach Yo, people like that, they got proven track records of, they got a program and a system that they can implement and know how to win. So again, I'm not saying, yo, just find any black woman and give her the job. Nah, I'm saying find the person with the right resume or the right background, because we know that there's been a conversation of lack of black women. So even the white women you mentioned, this is not against white women, right? Because I don't mind white women coaching, because listen, I don't mind men coaching in the WNBA. But what I'm saying is, and everybody don't have this opinion, and that's fine, but this is a woman's space. So for me, I would like to see women representation. The same way, if you, you could say this about black people too, but I was about to use another industry. The same way in another industry, if you have a predominantly black space, you want to see more black, in the NBA, perfect example, in the NBA, you want to see more black male coaches, right? Because of the players in the history, there's so many black players. You want to just see that representation. Not to say that all of the coaches got to be black. No, you got some white coaches. That's fine. But you want to see some representation from black coaches as well. So I'm saying the same thing from the women's rate. I would like to see some representation from people that's qualified, right? From people that's qualified, I would like to see some representation from black women, but also white women. So it's bringing up, I think that coach at, I know you're talking about Vanderbilt. That coach at Vanderbilt, I think she's a good coach. I like her from what I've seen. So
it's not saying she don't deserve the opportunity. She deserves it as well. But I'm just saying I would like to see more black women coaches that actually deserve the job based off their resume or their background and history and playing in the WNBA. All right, we can move on to something else, so we can end the show. It's up to you guys. You guys seem like y'all fellas. It is Sunday. You know what I mean? We can end the show. It's 10 o'clock.
No, I didn't fall asleep. I was responding to something else, but I'm gonna, since you brought it up, I might as well say it. Well, I'm gonna step out right now. If you guys are gonna still be on the air, I can come back in about 20 minutes to a half hour, about 20 minutes to a half hour or so. But if you're gonna sign off, then then we'll see you later, unless you're coming back on later tonight. I don't know.
I mean, it's up to everybody else. I don't know what Hot Tracks or Mo3 is doing. If they still got topics, we could talk about it. If not, we could end the show. And then the next time, my schedule is Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. So the next time I'll be on is Wednesday.
Well,
after the game.
Yeah, I go on to 11:30.
You have the game today? What game?
No, you talking about Wednesday?
No, the game on Wednesday.
On Wednesday. Yeah, I go live 11:30. Right. I'm actually, and I posed this question when I first started. I posed this question yesterday too. I'm debating whether I should change the time I go live, whether I should stay late or go early. So so far, most of the people I feel like wants me to stay late. So my plan is to stay late, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. But if I do change, it'll be to 3 p.m. Eastern time. So I just want to know what's better for people as far as, time wise and me going live for them.
I think the late one will be better.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from most people. Yeah, so that's why I'm planning on staying at that time. It might go early, like even if I do go early, it might be an hour too early or something like that. But yeah, I'm planning on staying later right now because that's the feedback that I'm getting mostly from people who stay later.
Yeah, because we in the East, so people in Cali 3 is really like 12 for them, 12 in the afternoon.
Yeah, but just to give y'all some more insight, the reason why I'm even thinking about this is because y'all probably familiar with it. When you do YouTube pages, you have your analytics that come back. So my analytics tells me that, and again, what's on paper, the same thing like basketball. What's on paper ain't the same thing like playing a game, right? So it's telling me that I would have an even bigger audience if I go earlier. That's why I'm even thinking about it, right? It's telling me my audience will actually be bigger from 3 to let's say if I go 8 or something, 3 to 8, whatever. That window, I'm gonna actually get more people than going right now. Than going later, I get less people. You get what I'm saying? But so that's all based off my analytics. Like when do people start picking up on my channel and wanting to see content? Because there's a part of the day where it's cold, right? Early in the day, so late at night. So anywhere between let's say 2 a.m. all the way up until let's say 12 or sometime in the up to 3 p.m. It's cold, right? That's a cold area for me. And then it's hot between 3 and 12 or 1 or something like that. You get what I'm saying? So it's like looking at your analytics. Again, remember I told you, MSL, I watch myself over to critique myself to make sure I'm better. So I do the same. It's funny because this kind of ties into basketball. What we were just saying earlier about understanding analytics, right? Understanding your advanced stats, understanding what's happening on the floor, and not overreacting to either, and trying to understand what the game is telling you. Same thing, right? I'm understanding what my YouTube channel is telling me. I'm understanding the analytics of it. I'm understanding what I actually do every day, and the people that y'all physical people, right? Like y'all physical people. Y'all not just numbers on a heat map, right? Or lines on a heat map or whatever the case may be. But in me looking at that, is making me say, okay, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that, trying to make the channel better. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Have you
So that's
gone
No,
live early
that's go
at
ahead.
3
Sorry.
before?
say that one more
Have you
time.
gone live at have you gone live around 3 before?
No, not necessarily. No, because so before when I was going live, I was working at that time, so I couldn't go live at that time. And then now it would be experiment. So like if I do go, that's why I'm asking, because if I do, let's just say I decide I'm gonna try the 3 o'clock time. Of course, first of all, it's gonna be slower. Like anytime you change up, especially with the way YouTube and analytics work, people get used to you coming on, used to your channel at this time. So of course, I'm gonna lose certain people, right? But if I do it, I would have to let people
Hey,
know in
Brooklyn. I'm
advance.
sorry. I just got to step away. If you
Now
guys
you
are
good,
on,
Brody. You good. You good.
okay. Appreciate that.
If we're still on, we'll see you when you get back. If not, then I see you next time I'm live. But
Alrighty.
so to answer your
So
question, though,
I'll leave the microphone and just mute it.
all right, Brody. To answer your question on Mo 3, if I do it, I would have to give people like a week or two in advance and say, hey, at this date, this date will be going. You know what I mean? I wouldn't just up and be like, yo, 3 p.m. today. You know what I mean? I would give people a heads up. But before, I'm not even at that stage yet. The stage I'm at now is seeing how you guys feel. And that's why I said the more and more I ask, the more I'm getting stay at 11:30. Some people, well, nobody actually said, but I put a poll out. One person or two people did vote. I think it was one person actually. One person did vote for the 3 o'clock time. Everybody else voted for the 11:30 time. So I'm getting that information back, and I'm getting also the information when I ask, I ask and I get feedback directly. Yeah, so far everybody I've actually responded to me. Nobody said 3 p.m. Everybody said stay 11:30. So right now that's what I'm leaning towards. I'm cool with that. But in the event I did decide, or in the event I was getting more feedback for 3 p.m., I wouldn't just up and do it cold turkey. Like I would, I would advertise it for a while before I actually move to that time. That's how I would do it in real time if I did it.
So what YouTube is saying is that people are watching your lives around that time.
No, so they saying YouTube, so they have something called a heat map, and what the heat map tells you is when your subscribers or the people is even non-subscribers, the people who watch my content, they tell me when they most active and when they least active. So they saying my most active time is actually earlier than now, right? They saying that this time is active too. Don't get it twisted. It's not like that time is hot and this time is not. It's just that time is hotter. You get what I'm saying? It's more activity. Whereas this time is less activity, but it's still activity. That's why I could go live now and not worry about it. I still do great lives right now. Like I'm not complaining. At least for me, every channel's at different levels. For what I expect from my channel, I'm absolutely satisfied with what's happening. That's why I'm not planning on changing. That's why I asked the question to see how you guys felt, because I'm like, yo, I'm cool with staying at this time. So if you guys want me to stay at this time, I will stay at this time. Ain't no problem. But let's just say you guys say, you know what? Yeah, I could do either or not. You know what I mean? Then I could easily say, I bet I'm gonna go live earlier. I could just easily switch it, but I would just have to know how the majority of my audience feels. So far, most people haven't really responded, but the people who have responded have said later is better. And to your point, you make a good point. I agree with you. That's something I thought about too, that we on a different time zone in the West Coast. That's another advantage of going live, because it's later for me here, but it's earlier for them there. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah, but the main reason I was asking that is because it doesn't seem like it's differentiating between long form content and short form. Because around that time, people are active, but it's mostly for short form content, like like the 10-minute, 20-minute videos. But live streams be like an hour plus, and sometimes people they'll click on, but then they'll click off. They won't catch the whole live.
Right, right. But I think also, and I agree with you that the short form and the live is different lifts, and I again, that's something I thought about as well. But I think another part that I've thought about that you're not considering is the fact that the crowd would be different too as far as younger, right? So right now, like if you're
Yeah.
somebody older and you work or whatever the case may be, 11:30 is better for you. But if you somebody who is going to school and you getting out of school, whatever, you a younger crowd, you a younger somebody. Let's just say you somebody that's in the women's basketball, because we already know, like we said, we got high school players, all types of players. So let's say you want to live like this, and you 16, 17, whatever. Those people will be able to catch it at those times too. So I think all that, but ultimately you are right, like to the point of it's not differentiating long form between lives. But the only thing that kind of does counteract that is most of my content is lives. So most of my analytics will be based off my lives. It's not gonna, because I don't even post a lot of long form videos or enough for it to make that the determination. The determination is based off my lives because that's what I do more often on my channel. So the actual analytics is actually based more off my lives than anything.
Okay.
Yeah, but listen, we're gonna wrap it up because it's slow. This was a great show. I wish we had more people interacting on the last topic. Maybe I should have started the show with that. That's a learning lesson for me, because I feel like that was an important topic. The other ones was more drama and it was entertaining and stuff like that. But I love talking about stuff as well that's beneficial to the game, and I feel like that topic was real beneficial to the game, right? With that said, though, I appreciated everybody who came to the panel. My brother Mo3, as usual, came through with some good stuff. My brother MSL, as usual, is going to be very entertaining and informational. You know, my brother Hot Tracks is going to come with the controversial. He'll come with the controversial topics, but always good stuff though. Always good information from all of them, and I appreciate you guys'
Hey,
opinions and stuff like that. Yeah,
hey, before you go, did you
yeah.
see the end of the? Or you say you stopped watching?
With
Hey,
the All Star game,
the real, the real CC was mad that she lost.
the
She
real
was mad. I'm like,
CC.
man, you could
Who the real CC?
Sonia Citron.
Oh, so wait, her name is SC.
You know the real
That's
22.
Sonya. Oh, the real 22. Okay.
Hello.
Well, so yeah, I mean, she a competitor, and I'm gonna be honest with you. If
Hello.
that's a yeah, can you hear me?
Yo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello.
My mic went out. Mic, yeah, I'm here. Mic check, mic check,
Got me?
mic check. Yeah, you get me? You? Yeah, I think his mic might have went out because I think I'm fine. Y'all can hear me in the chat, right?
I guess this is over then. Good night to all, and to all a good night. Oh, you hear me? Oh, what I was saying, she was mad at the end. I was saying the real CC because they got the same number, 22. Now I can't hear you. That's why I said the real CC because they got the same number, 22. But anyways,
You can hear me now?
she was upset that she was visibly upset that they lost. Like at the end of the game, she had her arms folded and her face was like, man. And like she was looking at her teammates like, why y'all jumping around happy and stuff? Like she was mad. She looked at angry like, man, we lost. I don't want to hear nothing from y'all, man. But I just thought that was funny.
Right. You hear me now?
Well, I can't hear you, and so I'm out. Good night to all, and to all a good night.
All right, man. I don't know if y'all can hear me. If he heard y'all hear him, I heard him. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but if y'all can't hear me, shout out to everybody who came through the panel. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If y'all can hear me real quick in the chat, Drop a one in the chat for me. Anybody can hear me. If y'all can hear me. If y'all can't hear me. If y'all can't hear me, I can't hear me. But if y'all can hear me, drop a one in the chat. I guess y'all can't hear me. It's very weird. It's very weird. All right, I'm going to just say good night anyway. Everybody have a good night. Everybody stay blessed. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Wow.